Live broadcast of Naruto begins with a movie The Death of Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226. Wow, I've thought about Konoha's role in this matter as much as possible, but I didn't expect my imagination is still so poor. This is the same as the Hidden Mist village. They all like to persecute their own bloodline ninjas. If you don't want them, give them to our village. Other countries want to worship bloodline ninjas, and only big ninja villages like you don't take them seriously. This is a bit outrageous. Uchiha is one of the two original ninja clans founded by Konoha, and they were exterminated in such a trifling way. Mission. Sasuke trembled all over and gritted his teeth to say this word, forcing Kakashi on the side to immediately speak up and comfort him. Calm down, don't you see what everyone is saying? This may just be a lie made up by the enemy. Having said that, Kakashi also understood that even if he wanted to deceive people, he couldn't make up a lie at the beginning of the topic. If he was found out, all the subsequent speeches would be regarded as false, so the masked man's words were most likely true. Lies. Then tell me the truth. Sasuke looked at Kakashi with bloodshot eyes, and said hatefully, do those Konoha high-level officials dare to tell the truth? I think not only will they not tell it now, but they will also increase their surveillance on me, the remnant of Uchiha. At that time, you will stand on that side, the Sharingan Kakashi who is famous in the ninja world. Who? Taking a deep breath, Kakashi did not show excessive emotions to stimulate Sasuke, and said calmly, Sasuke, you cannot believe me, do not believe the high-level officials of Konoha, but at least believe your companions. After knowing your situation, I think Naruto and Sakura will stand on your side anyway. Maybe they are not as powerful as they will be in the future, but you should not be able to deny Naruto's potential influence in the entire ninja world now. Konoha will give Uchiha a reasonable explanation. After all, the third generation even handled this matter personally, right? Don't wait patiently. It is not known whether it was Kakashi's earnest words or his trust to Naruto that Sasuke calmed down temporarily. At the training ground, Naruto looked at the sky with a worried look on his face. Even though he was not very smart, he could see that if he didn't handle it well, Sasuke's situation would become very difficult. Sexy sage, I want to go see Sasuke. Naruto looked at Jiraiya who was sitting under a big tree, writing and drawing on a book out of boredom. Hearing this, Jiraiya looked up at Naruto's serious expression, and seemed to see himself chasing Orochimaru in the past. Originally, according to his idea, he didn't want to pay attention to such troublesome things, but since Naruto asked him for help, and the third generation seemed to have plans for Uchiha, it would not be difficult for Naruto and Sasuke to meet. Thinking of this, Jiraiya got up from the ground and said to Naruto, let's go. Whether you can calm down that Uchiha kid depends on whether you can speak. Hey. I'm not good at speaking. Naruto muttered and followed him. Seeing that Sasuke seemed to have calmed down completely, the masked man began to talk about a more in-depth topic. To talk about Itachi, we have to trace it back to the time when Konoha was founded. This village had a big hidden danger when it was first established, and this also determined Itachi's life. He was a victim, and the cause and effect that was bared from the beginning caused his sacrifice. After briefly explaining the truth, the masked man once again emphasized that everything he said was true, but Sasuke also raised doubts at the right time, so the masked man retreated to advance, and did not force Sasuke to believe. The only requirement was to listen to him tell the whole story. After deep thinking, Sasuke stepped into the trap set for him. The topic is getting more and more confusing. How can Uchiha Itachi's story be brought back to decades ago? His father wasn't even born at that time. Listen to their explanation. No matter if it makes sense or not, it's enough to dig out some secret information from the founding of Konoha. Although Sasuke tried hard to express his distrust, I already have a hunch that he will be fooled by the other party next. This kind of paranoid personality is so easy to deceive. This story starts from 80 years ago. The masked man first gave a general introduction to the chaotic background of the Warring States period, and then focused on the opposition between the Senju and Uchiha, and also clarified the rumor that Uchiha Madara took his brother's eyes. However, one day, the Senju clan proposed a truce to the Uchiha clan, and the Uchiha clan agreed. Both sides were tired of the endless battle for a long time and reached their limit. After a pause, The masked man suddenly became excited. I am the only one who opposes the truce. Where did the hatred in the past go? What was my brother's sacrifice for? In the final analysis, Uchiha and Senju are like water and fire. I had a hunch at that time that sooner or later, Uchiha would be expelled by Senju. Humph. You are bragging. You said that Senju and Uchiha are the strongest among all ninjas. What's there to be angry about? This cognition was generally recognized at that time. Even now, everyone unanimously believes that the strongest ninja is the first Hokage Senju Hashirama, and Uchiha Madara is the only ninja who can compete with him. Maybe it is still the case now, but it may not be the case in the future. At least I think Naruto in the future can compete for the title of the strongest ninja. Well, the masked man said that Uchiha Madara's brother volunteered to donate his eyes, which conflicts with Itachi's words. You have to judge for yourself who is true and who is false, but I tend to agree with the masked man. It's hard to imagine that they would attack their own people in such a war-torn era. According to the masked man, do we have to wait until all the Senju clan are killed before the fight ends? If so, there will probably be few Uchiha left by then. The first Hokage is still very courageous. He was able to propose a truce under such circumstances. We are all human beings. After being in a state of war for many years, even if it is a low-intensity war, one day the spirit will not be able to bear it. At this time, the first Hokage's approach is correct. It's easy to say, but hatred is not so easy to eliminate. In that kind of environment, even if Naruto is thrown in, it will be useless. Obito, this kid, is making up stories because no one denies him. The kid called Uchiha Itachi before is also. Although Uchiha Madara doesn't care how future generations make up stories about him, it still feels a bit weird to say it in front of him. Chapter 227. Various past scenes of Senju and Uchiha flashed across the sky, and the masked man continued to narrate. However, the Uchiha clan is eager for a truce, and as the leader, I can only comply with everyone. Then the masked man talked about the establishment of the ninja village system, and also mentioned the battle between Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara because of the position of the first Hokage in the Valley of the End, and then talked about the second Hokage asking the Uchiha to set up the Konoha police force. But in fact, this is a measure to keep the Uchiha away from the village affairs and keep all the clan members under surveillance. Speaking of this, the masked man seemed to have a hint of regret in his voice, and softened his tone. Someone among the Uchiha noticed this, and a rebellious force that inherited my will appeared, but it was too late. Uchiha Madara is still very aggrieved. With this kind of thinking, normal people would not choose him as Hokage. Is it others who betrayed Uchiha Madara, or is it Uchiha Madara who betrayed others? Everyone just wants to live a peaceful life and doesn't want to fight with him. Is this wrong? In the eyes of such a strong man, as long as you don't follow his wishes, he will probably regard it as a betrayal. Hiss, although the painting it flashed across, but the first generation of Naruto and Uchiha spots. To what point he could win the bright face under the joint face of Uchiha and Nine-Tailed. The name of the god of ninja is laughing. The second generation of Naruto cannot be this purpose, and it is not only his smart person. If it is known by Uchiha, isn't it more not conducive to the stability of the village? Forget it, who can guess the true thoughts of the adults? These people, really nonsense. What is it? Obviously, it is Yuzhibo, hoping that they can better serve the wood leaf, and he set up a key position like a police force to give them to them. Damn it. Why don't you think about it? Even if you really want to monitor, can ordinary Anbu control the whereabouts of those Uchiha Jonin? Oh, it seems that the Anbu of the Hokage doesn't have to do anything, just monitor the Uchiha all day long, right? Looking at the livid face of Senju Hashirama, who originally didn't like to use his brain, pointed out the key to the problem uncharacteristically. Tobirama, maybe you didn't set up the police force during your reign for that purpose, but can you guarantee that your successor will have the same idea as you? Hearing this, Senju Tobirama's expression changed slightly. Although it is not yet certain how much truth the masked man's story is, when he thought about how he had conveyed the idea of being vigilant against Uchiha to Sarutobi Hiruzen and Denzo and other students during the period, he originally thought that Uchiha Kagami could ease their relationship with Uchiha, but now it seems that Uchiha Kagami didn't live to that time at all, so it is hard to guarantee that someone will go too far and regard Uchiha as an object that needs to be eliminated. As time went by, the dominance was in the hands of the Senju clan, and the glorious Uchiha clan became the Senju clan's lackeys. Then, as I expected, the Uchiha clan was completely ostracized because of something. That was the nine-tailed demon fox attack 16 years ago. Seeing that Sasuke didn't seem to understand the twists and turns here, the masked man explained, only the Uchiha clan's pupil power can conquer and control the nine-tailed fox, so the Konoha high-level officials believe that the incident was instigated by someone in the Uchiha clan, and even expanded this suspicion to the entire Uchiha clan, wondering if the Uchiha clan had caused the riot in order to seize power. But it was a natural disaster and had nothing to do with the Uchiha clan. Why does the masked man dare to say that? Wasn't the Nine Tails controlled by him to attack Konoha? This is just Uchiha Itachi's one-sided statement, so what is the truth? The Nine Tails was originally in the body of the Jinchuriki. It wouldn't run out for no reason. What is a natural disaster? Anyone with a little knowledge knows about the Jinchuriki and the tailed beasts. The term natural disaster can only be used to deal with those who don't understand such things. It feels like a trap has been set for Sasuke here. Since then, every move of the Uchiha clan has been monitored by the Anbu, and the clan's residence has been driven to the corner of the village and has fallen into a state of isolation. When he said this, the masked man's tone was a little emotional, but he recovered after a pause. The third Hokage was the only one who objected to this disposal, but Danzo and the two advisors did not agree with him. No one was willing to believe in the Uchiha clan, and discrimination arose. This distrust created a gap between the two sides, and suspicion eventually became a reality. The Uchiha clan attempted to launch a coup to seize control of the village. They planted a spy in the Hokage's Anbu, and that person was your brother, Uchiha Itachi. And this was the beginning of Itachi's hell. The Uchiha's residence was really arranged in a corner by the Konoha high level. Can you tolerate this? Uchiha didn't resist. Didn't you see what the masked man said before? Uchiha has become a hawk dog under the power of Chihiro. How can a dog resist its master? Wow. I thought the Uchiha clan was supposed to be very glorious, but who knew it was so aggrieved? I am now basically certain that the masked man is not Uchiha Madara, because of how he addressed the third Hokage. Well, if it is really Uchiha Madara, the third Hokage is just a junior to him. He, who competed for the position of Hokage and betrayed Konoha, would never address others as third Hokage. The Uchiha clan staged a coup? Exclamation mark. And then they were exterminated. Isn't this the same as the Kaguya clan? The Uchiha clan is much stronger than the Kaguya clan. If Itachi hadn't made a mistake, he might have succeeded. After all, you have seen how powerful Susanoo is. I want to see how Konoha made Uchiha Itachi betray the Uchiha clan, which originally had a chance to succeed. Chapter 228. Sasuke's face changed immediately after hearing about the inside story of the coup and the spy. In comparison, the identity of Sasuke's father, Uchiha Fugaku, as the mastermind of the coup seemed insignificant, because the following events related to Itachi were the real breaking point. However, the opposite happened. Itachi leaked all the information about Uchiha to the village, which is commonly known as a double agent. It is hard to imagine what kind of awareness he had to make such a decision. Why? Why did Itachi betray Uchiha? Sasuke asked in disbelief, to which the masked man responded, "You may not understand if you have not experienced war." During the Third Shinobi World War, Itachi, who was only 4 years old, witnessed too many deaths. He went to the battlefield at the age of 4, which is indeed rich in experience. Was Konoha's combat power so tight at that time that even a 4-year-old child had to go? At that time, Konoha was almost besieged by the entire ninja world. The other 4 major countries took turns to fight with Konoha. It was normal for 4-year-olds to go to the battlefield at that time. They are almost the same. When he was still young, he experienced war early, and war is hell. This experience made Itachi a person who does not like fighting and loves peace. Itachi is not bound by the shackles of the clan and loves peace, so for him, the stability of the village is his first consideration, and the village's high-level officials also took advantage of this. They gave Itachi a top-secret mission, an eye for an eye. To deal with Uchiha, you need the Sharingan. Hearing this, Sasuke had roughly pieced together what happened, so his eyes became a little dazed again, and the masked man unscrupulously revealed the scars deep in his heart. Yes, that mission is to wipe out all the people of the Uchiha clan. Not liking to fight, loving peace, this description is actually how can it be put on a person who killed all his compatriots. Although the logic seems to make sense, I always feel that something is wrong. It's a bit like a trap set by the Konoha high level. First, deliberately exclude the Uchiha to cause their dissatisfaction. When these dissatisfactions accumulate to a certain extent, the Uchiha will naturally take corresponding actions, and then the Konoha high level can justifiably attack the Uchiha. It's probably close, otherwise it can't explain why everyone was killed. It can't be that all the Uchiha participated in the coup. At least Sasuke's age doesn't know anything. The Konoha high level didn't set their sights on the Uchiha's Sharingan, and wanted to replicate Kakashi's situation, and then set up this for them. A situation. If this is true, I can only say that the Hyuga clan is foresighted. The caged bird thing fundamentally eliminates the feasibility of this operation. The masked man said that the Konoha high-level officials took advantage of Uchiha Itachi's peace-loving character. Does he mean that Uchiha Itachi was actually fooled by them? He was only 13 years old when the clan was exterminated. Kids of this age are in the most unstable mental period. How could he be the opponent of those cunning politicians? It would be strange if he was not fooled. Itachi Uchiha could not tell what his inner feelings were at this time. He originally thought that he was incompatible with the overall style of Uchiha. Only after watching his own experience from the perspective of an observer, he found that he was actually a thorough Uchiha, and he was even more arrogant than ordinary Uchiha. He thought he was the one who decided the end of the clan and arranged Sasuke's path. This arrogance made him feel that he could bear everything. Perhaps this was the reason for the extermination of the Uchiha clan. Am I wrong? I am wrong. Itachi's face was a little bitter. After being exposed to this extent, it seemed that he could no longer stay in the Akatsuki organization. After failing in his mission, all he could do now was to pass the information about Akatsuki that he had collected over the years back to Konoha, and then find an opportunity to die in Sasuke's hands. Itachi did not expect any other ending for himself, because this was the fate that a sinner deserved, not to mention that such an arrangement could give Sasuke enough power to protect himself, which was the best choice no matter how you looked at it. Sasuke, who was far away in Konoha, did not know that Itachi still intended to die in his hands. At this time, he looked at Naruto, Sakura and Jiraiya, who walked in from the door with cold eyes. Jiraiya consciously walked to Kakashi's side to give space to the three young people, but the extremely depressing atmosphere made it difficult to say a simple greeting. Sakura looked at Sasuke's cold eyes, feeling sad and scared in her heart. She opened and closed her mouth and didn't know what to say to comfort him. After all, the other party's experience, it would be too meaningless to say that she felt the same way. Although Sakura was easily impulsive in front of Sasuke, she would not make a mistake in such a matter. As for Sasuke, he had no intention of building relationships with him. Now he looked at the people of Konoha as if they were enemies. Only Naruto, who claimed that he was not good at speaking, could still speak despite the discomfort. Although he spoke in a halting manner, he still clearly expressed his support for Sasuke. Stinky Sasuke. I really envy you. You actually have a brother who values you so much? It's great. I have nothing. Haha, so don't worry, as long as the third-generation grandfather takes action, you will definitely be able to see your brother soon. Looking at Naruto, who was racking his brains to speak the lines, Sasuke did not have the slightest emotional fluctuation. He opened his Sharingan, and said coldly with undisguised hostility all over his body, then, even if I met Itachi, what would happen? Can the Sandaime revive the dead Uchiha? Naruto was speechless, and Sasuke continued to mock. Naruto, what is your purpose in coming here? Do you want to learn from your future self to change others and make me accept your point of view? Then what you should do is not to say these meaningless words here, but to fight with me. Only the winner is qualified to preach. Naruto sank his face and stammered, not knowing how to answer. Kakashi, who was leaning against the wall not far away, wanted to persuade Sasuke to be more polite, but was stopped by Jiraiya beside him. Let the Uchiha kid vent for the time being, and then see how Naruto performs. Kakashi was relieved a little. Since Jiraiya had such an attitude, it meant that he was not completely on the side of the top leaders, and for Naruto's sake, Sasuke's safety should also be guaranteed. Chapter 229. No one knows how Itachi felt when he received the mission, but he had to make a terrible decision under such circumstances. Normally, attacking compatriots is an option that he would never choose, but if the Uchiha is allowed to provoke a civil war, Konoha and the Land of Fire will be shaken, and other countries will definitely take advantage of the situation, and it may even turn into the Fourth Ninja World War. Because of the Uchiha's selfish desires, I don't know how many people will die, and innocent people will be implicated. If you were Itachi, what would you do? Sasuke hung his head and remained silent. Seeing this, The masked man continued, so Itachi decided to personally put an end to the history of the Uchiha. His betrayal was not hatred for the Uchiha, but he had no choice. If the Uchiha really launched a coup, what is the possibility of triggering the Fourth Ninja World War? That depends on the casualties of Konoha. After all, other ninja clans are not vegetarians. Even if they are weaker than the Uchiha, the alliance will not be able to defeat them. If they join forces, they can still fight against Uchiha. Even if Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha are of the same mind, the final result will definitely be a tragic victory for one side or a loss for both sides. In this case, there is a high probability that war will break out. So if we don't talk about a method, just from the result, Uchiha Itachi really contributed to peace? In fact, I was also looking for an opportunity to provoke a war at that time, because I hated Senju's Konoha and Uchiha, but even this did not escape Itachi's eyes. He was the only one who discovered my existence. Itachi met with me and put forward his conditions. He could help me take revenge on Uchiha, but the condition was that I could not attack Konoha. Only the third Hokage tried hard to resolve the conflict with other methods. He tried to negotiate with Uchiha to seek a reconciliation, but unfortunately time was tight and it was ultimately not realized, so everything that happened that night. The sky flashed across the bloody scenes of the night of the Uchiha genocide. It feels more and more outrageous. What kind of god is Uchiha Itachi? He can do things that others can't do. Putting aside his Uchiha identity, Itachi's ninja qualities are really high. No matter what the mission is, as long as the order is issued, he will do his best to complete it even if he has to give up his emotions. At the same time, his intelligence gathering ability, analysis ability, tactical layout and combat effectiveness are all at the top level. He is simply a perfect ninja template. Zabuza pretends to be cold but has rich emotions. Why don't you come and learn from him? Did this masked man receive 3? Why are you always saying good things for the third Hokage? He wants to get the money from the third Hokage. According to him, all the bad things were done by Danzo and the other 2 advisors. No, this is in line with the third Hokage's style after his second term in office. He tries to smooth things over as much as possible. If he negotiates with the Uchiha, he might suffer a loss and settle things down. This Hokage is really shameless. Don't his subordinates obey orders? That was a mission. As a criminal who killed a clan member, he became a traitor with a stigma. This was a mission. Itachi also completed it almost 100% mission, except for one thing. The masked man squinted at Sasuke, and after a moment's silence, he said softly, he couldn't kill his own brother. Ignoring how much Sasuke was stimulated, the masked man continued, afterwards, in order to protect you from the persecution of Danzo and other high-ranking officials, he asked the third Hokage for help and left the village after threatening Danzo. He said that if Sasuke was attacked, he would leak all the village's information to non-allied countries. What he missed most was you, but he couldn't tell you the truth, so he could only give that kind of reason. What the hell? Parents can do it, but the younger brother can't do it. What kind of brain circuit is this? Hey, didn't it say that Uchiha Itachi put the village's problems first? How come it has become a threat to Konoha's high-level officials to protect Sasuke with the village's intelligence? According to this statement, in Uchiha Itachi's heart, Sasuke is obviously more important than Konoha. What kind of brother control is this? Sasuke recalled the night of the genocide with a lonely face. The topic of capacity that Itachi said to him, as well as his ruthless ridicule, are still clearly imprinted in his mind. He hopes to make you stronger by giving you the goal of revenge against him, and he also hopes that you can always regard Uchiha as a glorious clan. He asked the Hokage to never let you know the truth. When he left the village, he had already decided to die in the battle with you. Everything is to give you new power at that time. This is the truth about Itachi. The masked man finished telling Itachi's story, but Sasuke didn't want to admit it anymore, and murmured to himself, "It's a lie. It's all a lie. You must be lying to me." Sasuke's life was arranged clearly. Psycho. Why don't you listen to whether Sasuke is willing to accept such an arrangement? Sasuke's attitude has changed several times. He asked anxiously and denied it desperately. It's normal. The originally gentle brother has become an enemy who can't wait to get rid of him. As a result, after he accepted this setting and successfully took revenge, someone suddenly came out and said that you killed the wrong person. In fact, your brother still loves you. How would you feel if this happened to you? I was almost killed by him several times. Seemingly finding an excuse to support himself, Sasuke shouted loudly to the masked man, But the masked man did not cooperate with him and gave a clear explanation directly. If Itachi really wanted to take your life, you would have died long ago. So Sasuke continued to quibble. In order to kill me, he even used the pupil technique of the Mangekyou Sharingan. He has thought of all the ways you can deal with him. Itachi has reasons to force you into a desperate situation in that battle. As for what the reasons are, you should have noticed it. Sasuke didn't want to think of that scene, but he still remembered the scene of Orochimaru being sealed by Itachi in the words of the masked man. Itachi is so cruel that even we, the bystanders, are played by him. Who would have thought that the fatal fight was just a fake one by him, and even the final failure was disguised perfectly? It is impossible to see that his purpose is to die in Sasuke's hands. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230. Orochimaru can't do that either. Itachi figured out all his thoughts. If it weren't for the masked man, Sasuke might have really followed Itachi's plan. In order to free you from the curse, and by killing your loved ones, you can open the Mangekyou Sharingan after the battle. The whole battle was designed by Itachi for you, and he played the drama of taking your eyes until the end. Looking at Sasuke's grim face, the masked man knew that he had listened to him, but Sasuke still didn't want to admit that he was wrong. Pretending to be calm and said to him, "You are lying." Sasuke found what he thought was a loophole in the masked man's story, and shouted angrily, "Itachi said that it was you who asked the Nine Tails to attack the village. You made Uchiha suffer unjustly accused, teamed up with Itachi to play with your clan." So Sasuke remembers it. I was wondering why Sasuke didn't react at all when the masked man mentioned the Nine Tails attacking Konoha. You are desperately looking for loopholes to deny what the other party said, but the more you do this, the more it shows that Sasuke has believed it. I always feel that these loopholes were left by the masked man on purpose, so that Sasuke's attention can be attracted to these insignificant things, thereby covering up other lies. The masked man explained calmly, "That was Itachi's lie. He was afraid that if you knew the truth, he would eliminate this possibility and lie to you so that you wouldn't believe me. The Amaterasu sealed in your eyes is also one of the evidences." However, Sasuke, maintained a playful attitude, shouting what he thought was the truth completely unreasonably. "Do you think I will believe it? Itachi is a bad guy. He is a criminal who slaughtered his people and colluded with Akatsuki. He left the village alone with an unwashed crime and joined Akatsuki to monitor this extremely dangerous organization to Konoha." The masked man ignored Sasuke's attitude and said to himself, "He is always thinking about the village and you. The matter of the Nine Tails was just glossed over, so what is the truth? Who is lying between the masked man and Itachi? The masked man who is so secretive that he dares not show his true face cannot be trusted, and Uchiha Itachi who arranged Sasuke clearly cannot be trusted. The situation where the cause and effect are unknown under the current situation, it is impossible to judge how much truth and falsehood the masked man and Itachi said. We can only analyze some information from some behavioral events. Alice, not everyone is as straightforward as Naruto, and his thoughts are clearly laid out on the surface. Although it is inexplicable to put his younger brother in a more important position than the village and parents, Uchiha Itachi is indeed impeccable to Konoha. He was labeled a traitor and went to Akatsuki as an undercover. Oh, of course, this is based on the premise that what the masked man said is true. Itachi, is what the masked guy said true? Kisame, who was originally standing on the edge of the cliff looking at the sky, turned sideways and looked at Itachi walking behind him, showing a sharp smile and asked, "If it is true, what are you going to do next? Kill me, a member of the Akatsuki organization?" He was basically right, except that some details were changed and concealed. Itachi stopped about 10 meters away from Kisame, looked at his slightly tense body, shook his head and said, "Don't be nervous, I don't mean to do anything, I just come here to say goodbye. My mission as an undercover agent in the Akatsuki organization is over." "Really? That's a pity. I can't continue to work with you." Kisame didn't relax. Although he admired Itachi, he was not so careless that he would put his safety on others. "Of course, it's okay to be vigilant, Itachi, what are your plans next? Are you going to go back to Konoha? After all, everyone knows about you now, and your brother should be waiting for you to go back and explain to him." "No. The only person who will appear in front of Uchiha Sasuke will be the Uchiha sinner, Not Uchiha Itachi of Konoha. Itachi replied calmly, then turned and left. Watching Itachi's back, Kisame, who understood his subtext, grinned and said, as expected of Mr. Itachi, although I don't think there's anything wrong with following orders, since it is your choice, you must have your own reasons. For Kisame, who specialized in killing his companions before defecting, it is difficult for him to understand something as illusory as emotions. He has no hope and even has the illusion that the world is false, but this does not prevent him from following the footsteps of such emotional people, and naturally he will not question their anything what decision. Uchiha Itachi is like this, and so is Uchiha Madara who invited him. As soon as the Sandaime Hokage who promised to protect you died, Itachi appeared in Konoha so quickly, in order to send a signal of I am still alive to the top leaders including Danzo, because he was worried. Sasuke couldn't listen anymore, and shouted to stop the other party's story, but the masked man's gentle question instantly broke the psychological defense line he had built with great difficulty. Then why are you still alive? Looking at Sasuke with a faint expression of collapse, the masked man stood up with his knees and walked in front of him. Your eyes didn't see through anything Itachi did, and didn't see through any illusions Itachi made up. And what about Itachi? Is Sasuke a child who never grows up in Itachi's eyes? This level of care reminds me of those young mothers who just gave birth. Sure enough, I was fooled. The masked man's previous words were all foreshadowing this sentence. Then why are you still alive? If he said it at the beginning, Sasuke would definitely choke him because I am stronger than Uchiha Itachi. Sasuke is indeed smarter than Naruto, but his inner flaws are a bit big. Once these loopholes are caught, it will be easy for others to take advantage of him. Who do you think caused this inner flaw? He killed his friends, killed his boss, killed his lover, killed his parents, but he couldn't do anything to you, his brother. The masked man cut the rope that bound Sasuke, leaned in front of his face and asked, this man who shed blood and tears, gave up all his emotions for the village and killed all his compatriots, can't do anything to you. Do you know what this means? To Itachi, your life is more important than the village. Chapter 231. He was thinking about you until his last moments. No, even after his death. In order to give you new strength, he let himself die in your hands, and used this to make you, who avenged the Uchiha, become the hero of Konoha. He knew that he was terminally ill and dying, so he used drugs to hold on, all for his beloved brother. He had to fight you, and then die in front of you. Tisk, Uchiha Itachi's feelings are too damn heavy. I won't comment on this ordinary person, because I don't understand Uchiha Itachi's brain circuits, and I'm not sensitive to such feelings. He is also a talent. Obviously, the feelings are completely different, but Itachi's actions are actually no different from Raza's. No wonder Gar thinks Sasuke is very similar to him. After an unknown amount of time, Sasuke, who had recovered, stood on the coast covered with sunset and looked into the distance calmly. The voice of the masked man echoed in his mind, and he was unforgettable for a long time. For the peace of Konoha, and most importantly, for you, Uchiha Sasuke. He hoped to die as a criminal, a traitor. He gave you honor and left the infamy to himself, gave you love and made himself hated. Even so, Itachi still died with a smile. He entrusted the name of Uchiha to you, his brother, and then covered it all up with his lies. I didn't expect that such information would be exposed, a Konoha diehard who killed his entire clan. Now that Itachi's identity has been exposed, then he won't be able to stay in Akatsuki anymore. Konoha should get the information he collected about Akatsuki next. Maybe we can get the location of Akatsuki's base. Now that the 5-cage summit has started, we can discuss this matter. Just know it yourself. Why do you have to say it on the sky screen? Would Akatsuki be prepared in advance? This kind of thing can't be concealed for long. I think the 5 major ninja villages will take action against Akatsuki in a short time. Although they have many good players now, it is obvious that it was Orochimaru's impure world reincarnation that gave them the confidence to challenge the 5 great nations, so they naturally had to take advantage of Orochimaru's trick before. Still. No, that's not right. Isn't Orochimaru gone? That's right. Since Orochimaru is gone, it is impossible for him to launch the impure world reincarnation during the 4th Ninja World War. Did anyone notice this? Of course we noticed it, but we were too busy organizing the information to publish it. Do you want to read what you are talking about? This kind of information was always kept secret in the past. Who would share it? Now, not only are there people who are confidently asking others, but there are also people who are giving serious answers. Everyone is changing since the sky curtain appeared. I think this is good. Let's be harmonious and not have too many intrigues. Maybe this will reduce even the struggles. Okay, let's talk about the impure world reincarnation. Do you think it will be Uchiha Madara? If the masked man is really him, it doesn't seem strange that he will be the impure world reincarnation of Konoha. Nagato, what should we do next? Konan asked with some worry. They have naturally analyzed the issues discussed in the bullet screen. Since the Akatsuki organization became famous in the ninja world, it is only a matter of time before the 5 major countries take action against them. Unfortunately, they are still in the preparation stage. In the absence of the tailed beasts, they want to fight against the entire ninja world with the power of an organization. Even with the Samsara, they are not strong enough. Nagato naturally understood this situation. He did not intend to rely blindly on the power of the Samsara, especially when he knew that there might be some conspiracy hidden in these eyes, so he had already thought of the means to deal with it. Don't worry, Konan. You know the faces of those big countries very well. Unless the situation is imminent, do you think that just the information that the future Akatsuki organization will launch a war can make them work together and unite without any barriers to deal with us? Nagato sneered and said, of course, we can't pin all our hopes on their disunity. Let Zetsu sneak into Konoha to see the content of their talks. If they show signs of attacking us, then we will take the initiative and kill one of the 5 major ninja villages as a warning to the monkeys. Under the calm face, memories can't stop surging. Those are the scenes of the past and Itachi. A gentle brother, a strong brother, a reliable brother, that iconic forward poking and every line is perfunctory forgive me Sasuke, next time. Finally, the memory came to the last moment of the previous battle, and the forward poking did not change, but this time's lines were changed to forgive me Sasuke. This is the last time. On the coast, on the reef, Sasuke closed his eyes and cried like rain, and the faces of the masked men and the snake teams Sujetsu, Karin, and Jugo flashed by one. We have broken away from Snake. From now on, our team will act under the name of Eagle. Eagle has only one goal, we have to. Sasuke's cold eyes showed a new pattern, destroy Konoha. Sasuke had this kind of personality when he was a child. I'm curious what he would be like if he grew up normally. Uchiha Itachi is the most awesome one. The contrast between his real personality and his disguise is too big. Poking the fort is a habitual action of the 2 brothers. Itachi dared to do this action before he died. Wasn't he afraid that Sasuke would notice something wrong? Oh, not only did he do it, he also said that kind of words. If Sasuke hadn't been so obsessed with revenge at the time, he would have known something was wrong right away. Even if he didn't notice it at the time, he would have noticed it more or less after calming down. That's why I don't understand Itachi Uchiha's brain circuit. On the one hand, he arranged for Amaterasu to eliminate the masked men and conceal the truth, but he himself made such an omission. Could it be that he was injured too badly at the time, so he was unconscious and made such a mistake? I can also say that Itachi Uchiha's love and guilt for his brother made him unable to help but show a trace of emotion when he was dying. Others can guess what they want about this kind of thing, but you have to ask the person involved for the real situation. Even the person involved may not know clearly. After all, he is not dead yet. I wanted to mock Sasuke for being cowardly when I saw him crying so cowardly, but if I put myself in his shoes, I would think, damn, a 16-year-old kid didn't get driven crazy when faced with such a thing. Chapter 232. Sasuke is still acting as a team. I thought he was alone. Does anyone know these 3 people? They are all unfamiliar. Judging from their ages, they are probably just kids now. It's normal that they are unknown. That red-haired girl is not from the Uzumaki clan. It seems that only their clan has such bright red hair. They are all familiar faces, or Orochimaru said unhappily. Uchiha Sasuke, the kid, really took away a lot of things from him. Not to mention Sujetsu Jugo, Karin was also abducted by Orochimaru when he went to the Kingdom of Grass to see the Box of Paradise recently. They are all very representative talents among his subordinates. Destroy Konoha. Wow, such a sudden development. Okay, this is what I want to see. I can't wait to see how Konoha responds. How will Konoha deal with Sasuke now? I'm so looking forward to it. You can't hide your gloating tone anymore. I'm even more curious about how Naruto will react to if Sasuke attacks Konoha. Haha, it seems not bad. Destroy Konoha? Sasuke said coldly, and Naruto and Sakura, who were not far from him, changed their faces instantly. Naruto suppressed his uneasiness and said to Sasuke in a serious tone, "I won't let you do this, Sasuke. And that's not what your brother wants, you. Shut up. Don't mention that guy in front of me." Sasuke looked at Naruto with murderous intent. What does his idea have to do with me? Why should I follow the path he arranged for me? He decided my life arbitrarily under the banner of loving me and doing good for me, but I am not his puppet. Now I am very glad that Shinmu exposed these contents, not to let me know that Itachi still loves me, but to let me break free from the shackles he gave me. Next, I may kill him or let him go, but no matter what, I will not regret it, because this is my own choice. So, Sasuke raised his hand and pointed at Naruto, said viciously, "Naruto, if you plan to boss me around, then I will definitely not be polite to you. Don't think that you can show off in front of Uchiha just because you have learned a few moves. You are still far from it. Really." As if he had entered the state of talking back to each other as usual, Naruto also showed a defiant smile at this time and said unceremoniously, "I really want to try what's so great about you, and Uchiha. I have long been fed up with your arrogant face." Looking at the two people who were ready to fight at any time, Kakashi had no choice but to stop them and said, "Okay, you two, I know you are very anxious to decide who is better, but let's leave it until the Chunin exam. Both sides should work hard to train and adjust their status, so that they don't have to make excuses when they lose." After finally persuading the two, Kakashi wiped the cold sweat from his head, looked at Jiraiya, who looked calm, walked to him in confusion and whispered, "Master Jiraiya, you don't seem to worry about what Sasuke will do." Jiraiya folded his arms and looked at Naruto's unconvinced look, chuckled and responded, "If it was before, I might have taken action against that kid for the stability of Konoha, but now I am basically sure that Naruto is the son of prophecy predicted by the great Toad Sage. I have spent my whole life looking for this person who can bring changes to the ninja world. Uchiha Sasuke is the hurdle that Naruto must cross. I believe he can save his friends, instead of giving up halfway like a loser like me." In the meeting room of the Hokage building, Inoki gloated slightly. He said to Tsunade with a gloating look, "What an amazing inside story, Princess Tsunade. I wonder how you Konoha will deal with Uchiha Sasuke after learning his thoughts? If it is inconvenient, we may be able to help." Tsunade cursed the third generation in her heart for leaving her such a mess, but there was no abnormality on her face. "Thank you for your concern, Lord Tsuchikage. Konoha can still handle this little thing properly. You may not know that before this sky curtain, the third generation Hokage intended to announce this part of the content. We cannot change the mistakes of the past, but we actively admit and correct them. I think we Konoha still have the courage to do it." The sky curtain gradually dimmed, and it was back to light after a while. Everyone knew that the next thing was new content. In the dense forest, Sasuke, who was running fast, suddenly saw a familiar figure jumping forward between the trees. Sasuke's mind was suddenly churning, but in an instant he suppressed his emotions and chased after the other party without thinking. "Stop. You, is it Itachi?" Sasuke shouted at Itachi in front of him. Seeing that the other party had no intention of paying attention, he immediately became angry. "I told you. Stop right there." Sasuke condensed a skeleton arm of Susanoo and smashed it at Itachi, and then Itachi blocked it back with the same method. Seeing this familiar move, Sasuke immediately confirmed the identity of the other party. Itachi finally responded with a simple sentence, "I didn't expect you to use this move." Ah. Why did Itachi appear again? No. It's the impure world reincarnation, the content of the Fourth Ninja World War. Is this a coincidence? Or fate? The resurrected Itachi actually met Sasuke again. Now Sasuke can ask clearly, no matter what the masked man has planned, it will fail. Your idea is too naive. Akatsuki was founded by the masked man, and this war was started by Akatsuki. The people who were resurrected by the impure world reincarnation were controlled by the Akatsuki. So how could the masked man let Itachi expose his lies? The first move was Susanoo. Sasuke's tactics changed drastically after he opened the Mangekyou Sharingan. According to Itachi's previous statement, Sasuke might have the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan now. People who were resurrected by the impure world reincarnation are immortal. So Itachi won't be tortured by illness now, and he might be stronger than he was in the battle before his death. No matter how well planned a plan is, there are always chances of mistakes. On the way back to Konoha, Itachi sighed helplessly as he looked at himself who had been resurrected by the impure world reincarnation on the sky. Itachi expected that Sasuke, who knew the truth about himself, would make such a decision, but when he met Sasuke again after his death, he could only sigh that things are unpredictable. Chapter 233. Why are you here? Aren't you dead? But Sasuke didn't plan to chat with him, so Itachi explained directly, because of Kabuto's ninjutsu, I am now a reincarnated body. I can't stop now, I have something to do, I don't care what you are going to do. Since you appear in front of me, I have a lot of questions to ask you. Sasuke's temper doesn't care about other people's important things. Itachi naturally understands his character, so he didn't stop Sasuke's questioning. You said that I would come to find you when I have eyes like yours. Then why are you running away now? Are you guilty of lying to me? Or because you don't have the courage to tell the truth? By the way, which faction does Sasuke belong to now? If he is standing on the opposite side of Konoha, is he in the same camp as Akatsuki? At the end of the last story, the masked man was also mixed in their team. I don't think so. If he was with Akatsuki, why would he be so shocked by Uchiha Itachi's appearance? Question mark? Huh? Uchiha Itachi said who initiated the impure world reincarnation? Kabuto? Kabuto Kakashi. Huh. I didn't expect that. After all, he's Orochimaru's right-hand man. It makes sense for him to inherit his legacy when Orochimaru is gone. Kabuto, I really didn't misjudge you. Orochimaru licked his lips and looked at Kabuto beside him with shining eyes. He liked this unexpected surprise. Maybe I should give you more responsibilities in the future. You are better than I thought. You are too kind, Lord Orochimaru. I am just following your instructions. Kabuto pushed his glasses calmly. He was not surprised at all that the impure world reincarnation in the sky was initiated by himself. After all, this was a guess he had made before. Haha, this is already amazing. Not everyone has the persistence and ability to constantly absorb new knowledge and new things. Orochimaru said with a hoarse smile. It was obviously encouragement and praise, but as long as it came out of his mouth, there was always a sense of ill intention. Usually Sasuke seems quite calm, but once he meets Uchiha Itachi, he becomes very willful. Wow, Uchiha Sasuke, don't get in the way, let Uchiha Itachi stop the impure world reincarnation, maybe the war will end directly. Now Uchiha Itachi is really protecting the entire ninja world. Seeing that Itachi was silent and did not respond, Sasuke roared and stated his goal. I already know everything about you, so I decided to destroy Konoha. I should have said it before in the battle. People live in their own obsessions. The reality you see may just be an illusion. My truth. In fact, the stimulation of the words had no effect on Itachi. His tone was always calm, but Sasuke couldn't stand his preaching the most now. And immediately interrupted, I'm no longer in the illusion. I have cracked your illusion. This is, your eyes. Itachi was silent again. He remembered a conversation with Naruto not long ago. Hey, Sasuke actually said his goal so directly? Isn't he afraid of what Itachi will think? According to the masked man, Sasuke is more important to Itachi than Konoha. It's hard to say which side he will stand on. No, the key is Itachi's own expectations. Hearing that his brother wants to destroy the village he has worked so hard for, Itachi must be very conflicted. This is Sasuke's resistance. You want me to be the hero of the village, so I will go against you. Itachi wanted to preach, but was killed by Sasuke. This is your eyes tisk tisk, what a word. Sasuke should understand your good intentions, but instead of inheriting your will, he plans to destroy Konoha. Because Konoha pushed his beloved brother into the abyss of pain, so he wants to use the entire village to commemorate you. The memories end. Seeing Sasuke's current appearance, Itachi realized how much he has changed, but Sasuke himself has a different opinion. No. You changed everything for me. I should have died. I should have been killed by you along with my parents. But Sasuke remembered the truth about Itachi told by the masked man, and asked with a heart-wrenching roar, why choose me? Why am I the only one who survived? Why me? What's the difference between me and my parents? Why? Oh, Naruto also has an intersection with Uchiha Itachi. It's the golden form from before. Naruto really sent his shadow clones to various battlefields. So Uchiha Itachi appeared here, that means Naruto's shadow clone was destroyed. Maybe. Although the combat power can be comparable to that of the shadow, the specific performance still requires combat wisdom. It just so happens that Uchiha Itachi is a ninja who is good at this. It's not surprising that Naruto's shadow clone lost. I am curious about how Itachi will answer. Will he just say because he loves you? That cold-faced man can't express his feelings so directly. Not necessarily. This is just Itachi's disguise, right? From Sasuke's memories, we can see that he was actually quite normal when he was a child. You didn't understand anything at the time. Whether it was the stupid ideas of the Uchiha clan or something else, you were just a child. Itachi gave his own explanation, and I didn't do it just for you. I also hope that one day I can use your hand to judge me on behalf of Uchiha. For this, I took advantage of your inner hatred, but I failed. I made you hate me, I made you abandon the village, I made you a sinner. I hoped you could walk on the right path. Before I died, I wanted to guide you to a straight road without forks in the road. I used lies in my eyes to rewrite the road signs. Excuse. What a lame excuse. Was Sasuke the only child of Uchiha at that time? Itachi, this guy, his lying skills plummeted after he died once. Tisk. You dare not tell the real reason. I have the recording equipment ready. I am not surprised, because I really can't imagine Itachi saying to Sasuke because I love you. Itachi's second explanation should be his true feelings. Since the masked man said that he did not hate Uchiha, Itachi, who personally slaughtered his people, must feel guilty, so he hopes to be judged by Uchiha? Chapter 234. Uchiha Itachi is very clear about his behavior. Did he figure it out after he died, or did he think so when he was alive? Isn't this just another way of saying for your own good? It's just that Itachi's is more extreme. You want me, who knows nothing, to walk calmly on that straight road? But I don't want to walk that road at all, Sasuke retorted loudly. No matter how you rewrite the road sign, I can see the traces of your alterations on it. Sasuke's words made Itachi chuckle. Naruto's figure appeared in his mind. No. Road signs may not be the only thing that can point the way. After giving this confusing answer, Itachi said that he would not say anything more. Sasuke immediately got angry. When you were alive, you always ignored me. Every time you said forgive me, you tapped my forehead and ran away. Now that you are dead, do you still want to run away? Naruto, why are you everywhere? Uchiha Itachi's reaction is that he wants Naruto to be the one who guides Sasuke forward. It's obvious. Naruto has always played this role in the previous scenes. Can't you speak more clearly? You always hide the truth. No wonder Sasuke's tone is so harsh. Oh, it's me, Naruto muttered awkwardly. To be honest, Naruto had a complicated impression of Uchiha Itachi. At first, he thought he was a cold-blooded villain who slaughtered his people. But when the truth about Itachi was revealed, he sympathized with his painful choice. At the same time, Naruto's feelings about Konoha had also changed subtly. Although he had understood the malice of those villagers in the past, he had never thought that there was such darkness hidden under the village. Even though he didn't understand most of what the masked man said, the part he understood also brought a great shock to his heart. Looking at Itachi's self-righteous expression on the sky, Sasuke glanced at Naruto with disgust. In Itachi's eyes, I need this guy's guidance. Can we take the right path? No wonder, both of them like to make decisions for others. The only difference is that one uses deception, and the other relies on empathy and practice. His thoughts suddenly paused, but Sasuke quickly sorted out his thoughts, and sneered, why can a guy who has nothing at the beginning empathize with me? I will prove you wrong, Itachi. I decide my own life. Faced with Sasuke's endless entanglement, Itachi said that he would stop the impure world reincarnation, and then use the summoning technique to conjure a large group of crows to block Sasuke. Itachi himself quickly rushed into a cave and broke a rock wall deep in the cave. Break through my barrier. You know my position very well. On the other side of the rock wall, the hooded and snake-like Kabuto looked at Itachi, who walked in, and said indifferently, when you control me, I can clearly feel where your chakra comes from. This is also the risk of this technique, but you don't need to remember this. Itachi explained briefly, and Kabuto accepted it with an open mind. Huh? Exclamation mark. What the hell, you, a person who has been resurrected by the impure world reincarnation, are going to stop it? No way. Those cages before couldn't break free of Kabuto's control, but Uchiha Itachi did it. How did he do it? If we can learn his method, then when someone performs the impure world reincarnation in the future, we can all get those summoned people out of control. Huh? Uchiha Itachi, are you serious? You want to stop Sasuke by summoning a few crows? He may just want to express his thoughts, and whether Sasuke listens or not is up to Sasuke. Is this Kabuto? Exclamation mark. If you don't know it in advance, anyone would think he's Orochimaru. This is much more authentic than Sasuke. You can tell at a glance that he is from Orochimaru's command. By the way, I know Kabuto is very powerful, but can he be a match for Itachi and Sasuke? He can participate in the war, and it seems that he is one of the leaders. We must not look at him with the old eyes, since Kabuto has made himself so much like Orochimaru. I estimate that his strength is at least as strong as Orochimaru. Even if he can't beat the two of them, he should have no problem escaping. What risk? The risk is to be able to break free of control. Tell me how you did it. Itachi didn't say it was a risk because you used unconventional methods. There is something I want you to remember. Even if you kill me, the impure world reincarnation, it will stop. Only I can stop this technique. Kabuto said proudly, that is to say, you can't kill me. If I die, you can never stop this technique. While speaking, a white snake stretched out from under Kabuto's robe moved its head. Kabuto, who was one with it, immediately noticed Sasuke following behind Itachi, and couldn't help laughing. It seems that I am not only lucky this time, but also very lucky. Itachi naturally noticed it, closed his eyes and said helplessly, it can't be solved as expected. Really? What? Killing the caster will not cancel the impure world reincarnation. There are only two ways. The caster actively cancels and seals. No wonder Kabuto is so confident that this move has no shortcomings and risks. Although I admire the second generation Hokage for creating this trick, but CNM, leaving such a dangerous move in the ninja world, you really think it's not chaotic enough? According to this theory, if the caster is killed, wouldn't those who are resurrected by the impure world reincarnation be immortal? Impossible. This is impossible. This is ridiculous. Senju Tobirama was speechless. Why are these people's ideas so outrageous? The impure world reincarnation can't last forever. Even the legendary six-path sage can't do it. How can a summoned dead person have such ability? Sasuke has caught up with me. Uchiha Itachi's attitude is very interesting. Do you feel his brother's willfulness? Maybe he's used to arranging Sasuke's life before, so he's a little uncomfortable for a while. Let's not talk about Itachi's reaction. Why is Kabuto so happy after he noticed Sasuke? He's very confident. He actually thinks he can fight against the two Uchiha together. Hey, who knows what other cards Kabuto has hidden? Maybe he will use the impure world reincarnation to create 10 Uchiha and beat up the two brothers in turn. Chapter 235. Finally caught up with him. Why did you run here? Sasuke walked out of the broken gap in the rock wall. At first glance, he saw Kabuto, who was pale and snake-like. He was frightened and took a defensive action, Orochimaru, but soon, Sasuke recognized the other party's identity from the familiar voice. You actually ran to me as a reward for my assistance in the war. You are so lucky. As soon as Kabuto said this, Itachi's eyes suddenly became fierce, and he interrupted him from explaining the reason to Sasuke, indicating that he was going to take action. Seeing this, Kabuto kindly reminded him, this technique has no weaknesses and no risks. Itachi, I actually want to explain to you. If you take action, I don't think Sasuke will stay there and listen to me. The more anxious you are to stop it, the less you can stop it. On the contrary, it seems Orochimaru casts a huge shadow on Sasuke. You sound as if you are saying that Orochimaru is a small character who is not qualified to threaten Sasuke. When did the name of the three ninjas become so shameless? It's mainly because Orochimaru lost to Sasuke, and then to Itachi. Although I don't know how much strength Orochimaru still retained when fighting against the two of them, an old senior being stepped on by two young people to get to the top, subconsciously gives people the feeling that he is just like that. Assisting in the war? Isn't Kabuto the leader of the enemy? It's Akatsuki, right? We previously speculated that Orochimaru might be a member of this organization. Now it seems that Kabuto and Akatsuki are working together, but what is the reward? Why is Sasuke said to be an object? Wait, it seems to be connected. Haven't we always figured out why the masked man wanted to save Sasuke? Now it seems that Sasuke is used as a bargaining chip by him. Even before the deal with Kabuto is exposed, Sasuke may even act as his thug to complete the tasks he entrusted under his deception. Wow. Uchiha Itachi, your mood change is too obvious. When you heard that Kabuto had bad thoughts about Sasuke, your face changed instantly and you wanted to attack. Before, I thought someone said that he had a brother complex, but now it seems to be the truth. Itachi, you love your brother so much? What do you know? This is the bond of the Uchiha brothers. Hatsuma, since the enemy wants to self-destruct, Itachi will naturally help him, so he stopped his plan to take action immediately and let Kabuto tell Sasuke the whole story. That's all about this war. Sasuke, you also want to defeat Itachi, the enemy of Uchiha, again, and Itachi is out of my control now, which means that Itachi is our enemy now, so how about we join forces to kill him? After all, we have the same snake power and the same teacher. I don't intend to treat that guy as a teacher. And you don't seem to know anything. I just chased here to find Itachi to ask for clarification. Sasuke had no interest in Kabuto's invitation. Hearing this, Kabuto restrained his smile and asked in a deep voice, "So, which side are you on now?" Damn. Kabuto's description of the war was skipped, otherwise we would know the ins and outs of the fourth war. Alice, just collect information from their conversations and behaviors. It's too naive to expect Shinmu to expose everything. Kabuto actually thinks Sasuke still wants to seek revenge on Itachi. It seems that his cooperation with the Akatsuki organization is limited. Sasuke is really not polite at all, and he put Orochimaru's after learning the skills, he turned his back on me. Why don't you give your body to Orochimaru? When Sasuke has the power to compete with Orochimaru, the conflict between the two is inevitable. Why do I feel that Kabuto is seriously inviting Sasuke? Where does he get the confidence that Sasuke will stand on his side? He should know that Orochimaru and Sasuke have a bad relationship. In response, Sasuke threw 3 shurikens, but Itachi immediately threw 3 shurikens to interrupt Sasuke's attack. What are you doing? This guy is in the same group as Orochimaru, so he is my enemy. And isn't he your enemy too? Sasuke asked angrily, so in order to prevent him from killing Kabuto without any mercy, Itachi promised Sasuke that he would have a good talk with him after dealing with Kabuto. Since Sasuke is unlikely to understand the technique of impure world reincarnation, Itachi also specifically explained why he did this. Once the person who performs the technique of impure world reincarnation is killed, the technique can never be solved. So I will first use Tsukuyomi on him to ask for a way to stop the technique, and then let him stay in the state of illusion, and release this technique under my control. Have you noticed that Sasuke has automatically grouped himself and Itachi together? He is planning to destroy Konoha for his brother, so he naturally thinks that he is in the same group with Itachi. Although we don't know how strong Kabuto is now, it will be very difficult to control him without hurting his life. Itachi and Sasuke both have Mangekyou Sharingan, but from Kabuto's attitude, he doesn't seem to care much, so he definitely has a strategy to deal with it, or his hard power can match the other party. Although the two brothers discussed dealing with him face to face, Kabuto's expression was always calm and unconcerned. You can talk about the way to deal with me so fluently, will it be so smooth to actually take action? I just said that this technique has no weaknesses and no risks. Any technique has weaknesses, and this technique has weaknesses and risks. Itachi interrupted Kabuto's speech and said in an uncharacteristically domineering manner, "That's me. Itachi, you always lied to me with excuses like next time and let's talk about it later, but you died. So this time, I want you to keep your promise." Sasuke approached Itachi and fought side by side with him. Itachi responded very sincerely, "A person's personality will not change until he dies, but I have died once, so I will keep my promise." Wow, Itachi's personality changed after he died once, so domineering. Are you sure it's not because your brother was targeted by the other party that he couldn't control his emotions? Tisk tisk, the two brothers are fighting side by side. Obviously, they were still fighting to the death in the previous story. The more unpredictable the development, the more surprises there are. Chapter 236. Looking at the picture of himself and Itachi fighting side by side on the sky screen, Sasuke's expression was a little dazed. He and Itachi had only fought together in a few playful missions when they were young, but a serious battle like this one against the enemy was something Sasuke had never dreamed of. We can stand together like that, and even your personality has become honest. Do these changes have to wait until you die once? Itachi, looking at this unprecedented combination in front of him, Kabuto's face immediately showed an eager expression. 6 white snakes emerged from Kabuto's robes and poked their heads at Itachi and Sasuke, while Kabuto himself lowered his hood to completely cover his face. Sasuke saw at a glance that this was the opponent's measure to deal with illusions, and also popularize the perception method of snakes to Itachi. You've done a lot of research, like a snake expert. Itachi sighed at Sasuke's growth, and Sasuke was a little proud of it. I did a special investigation to defeat Orochimaru. You can't defeat me just by being a snake expert. This is my domain, and nature is on my side. I saw Kabuto perform some kind of ninjutsu, and several white snakes quickly expanded. Is this guy really Kabuto? Did Orochimaru take his body away from him? Although I know he is Orochimaru's subordinate, there is no need to imitate him so thoroughly. He is almost unrecognizable as a human being. He is just a snake. Seeing this, I want to talk about Orochimaru again. Did he notice Sasuke's betrayal? Maybe he thinks everything is under control. You can see that even if Sasuke devoured Orochimaru's soul, he would take over Sasuke's body again as soon as he found a chance. If Itachi hadn't intervened, he might have succeeded. Itachi and Sasuke naturally noticed this change. Facing the four snakes that were swooping down and biting at them, the two brothers performed Susanoo at the same time. Itachi accurately grabbed the snake heads with the intention of capturing them alive, but Sasuke was not polite and directly drew his sword to cut off two of them. Don't be too harsh, Sasuke. I told you not to kill him. Itachi, who was worried that Sasuke might hide him too hard, reminded him again. However, Sasuke, who knew Orochimaru well, didn't take it seriously. He has obtained Orochimaru's power, so he won't die so easily. Sasuke rushed towards Kabuto while speaking. Itachi pulled Kabuto towards him, allowing Sasuke to get closer to him faster and opened his hood. Unexpectedly, Kabuto inside his robe turned into 3 white snakes, which instantly scattered and slipped behind the surrounding rock pillars. 2 Susanoo's that are both offensive and defensive. I really can't think of how Kabuto can defeat them. All of them are snake-type ninjutsu, a complete copy of Orochimaru. It turns out that it's Orochimaru versus the Uchiha brothers. It's hard to predict Kabuto's ability. Although Orochimaru's moves are not the kind that can destroy the world, he has too many methods as a scientist. I feel that no matter what moves Kabuto uses, it won't be surprising. Why are you discussing it so seriously? Don't forget, just one move of impure world reincarnation is difficult enough. Don't think that it seems to be a 2-on-1 situation now. It may become 2-on-5 or 2-on-10 in the next second. Sasuke quickly threw the Kusanagi sword in his hand and pierced the tail of a white snake, but the other party broke free by breaking its tail. Sasuke was not annoyed when he saw this, and mocked Kabuto, who was hiding. You escaped by shedding your skin. It seems that you are just a low-quality product with Orochimaru's residue transplanted into you. Sasuke, don't underestimate me. But it's no wonder, I am not as dangerous as you on the wanted list, and I am even less worth mentioning compared to Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto's voice echoed in the cave, but Sasuke had no intention of chatting with him. He directly opened the main Gekkai Sharingan to capture the other party's chakra, but found that the same chakra was everywhere around him, and he couldn't tell which one was Kabuto's real body. Sasuke is so arrogant, can't he see through Orochimaru? Boy, you are so arrogant, be careful to get hit by a club when you go out. Sasuke has always been confident, even when he fought Itachi before, although the truth is that his brother was just acting with him. Kabuto was loyal to Orochimaru, and he still respects him even though he's dead, but what's the matter with Sasuke's wanted order? He has defected to Orochimaru. No one thinks Konoha will sit idly by. But Kabuto used the danger. Hey, according to this analysis, Sasuke must have done something big, so the wanted bounty is so high. Did he attack Konoha? At this time, the 2 white snakes caught by Itachi's Susanoo gradually liquefied. Kabuto generously taught, this is the ability of fluid body transformation, using body fluids to separate the body, so it looks like shedding. This is a technology that came into being after investigating the body transformation ability of the Hazuki clan. You know who I'm talking about. It's Sujetsu. He can turn from a human into water, and then from water into a human. While speaking, the tail of the white snake pierced by Sasuke's Kusanagi sword recovered quickly. Even though the other party couldn't see it, Kabuto spoke of his ability without reservation. I also have overwhelming recovery power. Speaking of which, this is also a recovery technology obtained after investigating the body of a woman from the Uzumaki clan. That is, Karin you are very familiar with. The secret technique of water transformation of the Hazuki clan has been mastered by Kabuto? Exclamation mark. Would that mean that we can ignore the enemy's physical skills? Pay attention to Kabuto's choice of words. He is talking about technology, which should be simulated by scientific research. It is different from the water transformation secret technique of the Hazuki clan. Did this guy appear at the end of the previous story? He is a member of Sasuke's Eagle team. It turns out that he is from the Hazuki clan. Ever since the Hidden Mist village began to exclude bloodline limits, There are countless bloodline ninjas who have drifted to various parts of the ninja world. A scientific lunatic like Orochimaru will naturally not let them go. You can even simulate the recovery ability of the Uzumaki clan? Your science and technology is a bit dark. This Yakashi Kabuto, what a stitched monster. Although it feels messy, these abilities are very practical. So now Kabuto is a combination of Orochimaru plus Hazuki plus Uzumaki. No wonder he has the confidence to fight against two Uchiha who master the main Gekyo. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237. Is Karin from the Uzumaki clan? Sasuke was a little surprised. At this time, three red-haired figures appeared on the sky screen as Kabuto told this story. The characteristic of people who inherit the bloodline of the Uzumaki clan is red hair, and their vitality is as tenacious as cockroaches. Speaking of this, I am a little concerned about your other partner. No, he seems to be no longer your partner. A white snake slithered between the rock pillars and observed Sasuke's expression. In short, you chose three people, which shows that your vision is not bad. In this ninja world, people without talent will be denied, but it doesn't matter if you don't have it, just take away all the lacks and add them to yourself. Does anyone know these three Uzumaki clan members in Kabuto's memory? The fact that he can remember them means that they must have something special. Maybe they just had an intersection with him. Maybe they are all Orochimaru's experimental subjects. The woman on the far left. I have a vague impression, but I forgot where I saw her. Oh, Kabuto's words and his actions. Why do I feel like he's saying that he has no talent? Tisk tisk. Being too modest is arrogance. Don't forget that you are a man who is personally certified by Jiraiya, one of the three ninjas, as being as capable as Kakashi. Ha. Maybe in Kabuto's eyes, Kakashi is also a person without talent, so that makes sense. He doesn't even look down on Naruto, let alone Kakashi. Hashima, being able to take away someone else's advantage and give it to yourself is a talent in itself. He has already obtained Jugo's ability. Sasuke heard Kabuto's subtext and thought that he also obtained it through Orochimaru's curse seal, but he gave a different answer. No, that kind of thing can only be of temporary benefit. This power is obtained by my own training in Raichi Cave. Several white snakes emerged from behind the rock pillars and entangled with each other, gradually merging into one as they liquefied. Raichi Cave, a place of inheritance as famous as Maiboku Mountain and Whetbone Forest. Not only Orochimaru went there, but now I have also arrived there. I found the white snake immortal and obtained this power through practice. I finally surpassed Orochimaru. Raichi Cave? Maiboku Mountain? Whetbone Forest? A place of inheritance? What the hell is going on? The sky curtain is constantly reminding me how ignorant I am. Get used to it, get used to it. So, does anyone know what these places represent? I know, but I won't tell you. The power obtained through practice has surpassed Orochimaru. This Kabuto Yakashi is more powerful than expected. Why are you comparing him to Orochimaru? Orochimaru is not a stepping stone. Wonderful. It's really wonderful. Orochimaru looked at Kabuto's performance on the sky curtain with some excitement. It's not because Kabuto has learned the Sage Mode that he himself couldn't. To be honest, although the Sage Mode is difficult, it is not a problem for Orochimaru to master it. It's just that he doesn't want to gamble on the possibility of failure in training, so he found another way and invented the curse seal to master the power of nature in disguise. The reason why he was so excited was because Orochimaru saw the talent in Kabuto that he had never discovered. This is really a precious experience for Orochimaru who likes surprises. Orochimaru turned his head to look at Kabuto, and his tone was as malicious as always. Kabuto, do you want me to send you to the Raichi Cave to practice the Sage Mode now? Your talent cannot be buried under my hands. Kabuto's expression was somewhat helpless, and he refused with a wry smile. Lord Orochimaru, please give me some more time. I did learn the Sage Mode on the sky, but I don't know his physical data and strength when he started learning. Anyway, it will definitely not be my current state, so if I go to the Raichi Cave to practice now, I will probably only become feces there. Then it's up to you. After all, you are now famous in the ninja world because of my name. Orochimaru smiled sinisterly. Lord Orochimaru, please stop joking. The entangled and fused white snakes turned into a monster shape, and a wet arm suddenly stretched out from a snake's mouth. Sasuke did not sit back and watch the other party's changes. Although the surrounding environment was dark, relying on the inside of the main Gekyo Sharingan, Sasuke confidently controlled Susanoo and shot an arrow at the basilisk, but he did not expect that the basilisk would dodge this attack. The arm that stretched out from the snake's mouth shook its finger in contempt, and then Kabuto's voice sounded again. My perception ability is no longer what it used to be, because natural energy has become my partner. Do you know that the Jugo clan has a special physique that absorbs natural energy into the body, but because Jugo can't control it, he often goes berserk when he becomes stronger. I can't tell how much stronger Kabuto is than Orochimaru, but this pervert is as disgusting as Orochimaru. Don't all of you who have learned from Orochimaru like to get out of the snake's mouth? To be honest, Sasuke, do you know this trick too? Didn't Sasuke use some kind of Orochimaru-style substitution technique before? It must be disgusting to come out of his own shed skin, but the sky curtain didn't show the scene. Natural energy. Why does this word sound familiar? How can it not be familiar? Isn't natural energy what Naruto uses when he uses Sage Mode? Hey. So Kabuto is using Sage Mode now. He seemed to mention the White Snake Sage of the Raichi Cave. This should be it. The survivors of the Hazumi clan, the survivors of the Uzumaki clan, the users of natural energy. Sasuke's Eagle team is also full of talents. If you can't control natural energy, you will go berserk. It seems that Sage Mode is not so easy to learn. If it is easy to learn, then Kabuto wouldn't be so proud. Lord Orochimaru took a fancy to the power that made Jugo crazy, and he also specially investigated the origin of their clan's power. Then he found the source of that power, which is the Raichi Cave. Lord Orochimaru tried to get that power on the spot, but his body couldn't bear it, so, the snake mouth with its arms stretched out slowly expanded, and a naked upper body and a monster-like face of Kabuto emerged from it and lay on the ground. Even he couldn't transform into perfect Sage Mode like me. Chapter 238. Itachi's expression was solemn because he knew something about the power of the Sage Mode, but to Sasuke, the Kabuto in front of him was just a weird guy imitating Orochimaru. Please don't mention Orochimaru anymore. Every time you mention him, his image in my mind becomes shorter. If you continue, the name of the three ninjas will cry. From your tone, are you a fan of Orochimaru? Is the current ninja world no longer suitable for old seniors? Orochimaru is also famous as a genius in the ninja world. How come he has become a foil for young people now? What are the limitations of this Sage Mode? Even a strong man of Orochimaru's level can't bear it. Wow. Kabuto's image is more disgusting than Orochimaru. Are you sure this is the Sage Mode? Why is it different from Naruto's? No, this image is too scary. Sage Mode? It's better to say it's Snake Mode. Wow, Sasuke, you've really become so arrogant. Is it because you opened the main Gekyo Sharingan? Or is it because your brother is around that you don't care about anything? Damn it, Orochimaru, how can you bear this? If I go to Konoha right now to teach this Uchiha brat a lesson, let him know the weight of the title of Sannin. Listening to Sasuke's ridicule, Kabuto slowly stood up and faced the two brothers. I hope the snake expert can understand that I am no longer a snake. The perfect sage power allowed me to shed my snake skin, and sublimate into a dragon. Senjutsu, White Jiki Jutsu, Kabuto quickly formed a seal and spit out a red dragon-shaped chakra, holding a purple-black chakra ball in his dragon claws. The chakra dragon circled around the chakra ball, and after a few breaths, it burst into an extremely dazzling light and a buzzing sound like a spike. The blinding light made Itachi and Sasuke unable to open their eyes, and the piercing buzzing sound made them cover their ears in pain. The two were completely blocked from moving, and Sasuke couldn't even maintain Susanoo because of the pain. It turns out that it's not a sage or a snake man, but a dragon man. After Naruto entered the Sage Mode, he only had a little orange eyeshadow and a pair of frog pupils. How come you have so many tricks? Okay, thank you Mr. Kabuto for providing us with an idea to deal with Susanoo. Sound? It's really a good idea. No wonder Orochimaru created the Sound Village. It seems that they are very knowledgeable about sound-based ninjutsu. It's just like Uchiha Itachi said. Any technique has weaknesses and risks, even the seemingly unsolvable ability of Susanoo is no exception. After Sasuke opened the main Gekyo Sharingan, the battle his style has really changed completely. He didn't even dodge when the enemy attacked him. He just stood there and watched with Susanoo on. You are so arrogant, you are in trouble. Judging from the performance of this move in Kabuto's own description, if he doesn't have that kind of physique, why does it feel like another move that can't be solved? I'm speechless. Why are there so many moves like this in the recent episodes of Shyamalan? Can't you just spit fire and water normally? Don't waste your brain, just watch how others deal with it. In this environment, Kabuto ignored the strong light and buzzing sound by using the snake's cornea and liquefiable body to rush straight towards the two. First deal with Itachi, replace the talisman in his brain and use him as a chess piece again. No, compared to this, after thinking about the countermeasures briefly, Kabuto immediately gave up the idea of attacking Itachi and opened his mouth wide to pounce on Sasuke as if he wanted to swallow him in one gulp. However, Itachi predicted Kabuto's move and controlled Susanoo to extend an arm to protect Sasuke, which made him return empty-handed and stop his action. Itachi, you seem to be very good at sniffing my position. Can you sense my chakra? Kabuto made a strange guess, but overturned this idea the next second. Damn. Your mouth is so wide open, it's scary. No, even if you admire Orochimaru, there is no need to inherit such a disgusting attack method. Itachi is still reliable. He can still use Susanoo to protect his brother in this situation. In comparison, the performance of a certain brat with a nose in the sky is too bad. If Itachi hadn't been there, he might have fallen into Kabuto's hands. Sasuke also found that his style of doing things had changed a lot, and he was a little unhappy with himself, who boasted and then immediately suffered a setback. Is it really because Itachi is around that he has become that? What a joke. But that's not right. You said when you were controlling me, which means that you shouldn't be able to sense my chakra now, and you want to deceive me with your best lies. At this time, the effect of the white Jiki Jutsu performed by Kabuto disappeared, and Itachi was able to put down his hands covering his ears and explained, "Who told you that I was the one who sensed your chakra? It was actually Nagato who was with me at the time who did it. I don't have that ability." The reason why he was able to protect Sasuke in time without seeing or hearing was because Itachi saw through Kabuto's inner thoughts. Kabuto admired and mocked this and said, "You are different from other Uchiha. You have real eye power, which can see through people's hearts, read people's hearts, and use them in battle. So you are good at deceiving. You are a complete liar ninja who has lied and lies all his life." Hey, is the Nagato mentioned by Itachi the one in the middle of the three Uzumaki clans that Kabuto just recalled? Looking at the appearance, it is indeed the same person, but one has red hair and the other has white hair. Nagato, didn't the second Tsuchikage summon a person at the end of the battle between the Ninja Alliance and the Four Cages? Did that person mention the name Nagato? Never heard of this person in the ninja world, and I don't know where he came from. That's Nagato. In addition to Yahiko and Konan from last time, are those three children still alive? Jiraiya recalled with a complicated expression. Jiraiya was of course happy that his former disciples were still alive, but as soon as he thought that they were all related to the Akatsuki organization, his mood immediately became complicated. It is indeed as Kabuto said, Itachi completely guessed the other party's thoughts. This is a talent, good at deception. This is the ability that ninjas dream of. Chapter 239. Unable to tolerate Kabuto's derogation of Itachi, Sasuke used Chidori's sharp spear on him, but this direct frontal attack had no effect on Kabuto, who had amazing perception ability. He easily jumped to avoid the attack and hung upside down on the top of the cave. What's the matter with two people? This temporary combination can't surpass my perception ability. Besides, this is a pair of brothers who have been fighting each other for many years because of their brother's lies. Kabuto's continuous ridicule made Sasuke very unhappy, but Itachi remained calm. He suddenly brought up an irrelevant topic and asked, "Sasuke, do you remember that you and I went to do the wild boar mission together?" Sasuke thought for a moment, then showed an interested smile. "Yeah, that, I remember." After the misunderstanding was resolved, the two brothers behaved in the same way. They couldn't stand others saying bad things about each other. Itachi's coldness towards Sasuke was pretended from the beginning, and Sasuke's not with Itachi was after Itachi's death. After understanding his truth, most of it has been solved, so naturally I can't tolerate others saying bad things about him. It seems that the greatly improved perception ability is a universal effect of the Sage Mode. Naruto also relied on the Sage Mode to improve his perception before defeating the third Raikage. Seeing that Kabuto was so confident in mocking the cooperation between the two, I knew that he would definitely be slapped in the face next. Cooperation is very mysterious. It is possible that two people who spend every day together can never cooperate well, or it is possible that two people with very bad relationships can achieve the effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2 without verbal communication. Itachi and Sasuke, the brothers, are the latter no matter how you look at it. After the two brothers exchanged secret words, they activated Susanoo at the same time and launched an attack without waiting for Kabuto to react. The past scenes flash alternately with the present. Itachi took the lead in attacking the area around the target to block the opponent's sight, and then Sasuke drew his bow and shot an arrow at the white snake head connected to Kabuto to restrict his movement, and then Itachi stepped forward to launch a close-range attack. Unfortunately, Itachi was a step too late. Kabuto pulled out the Kusanagi sword that Sasuke had shot before and pierced Itachi. At this time, the white snake shot by Sasuke's arrow also liquefied and separated. So, don't be anxious. Kabuto mocked in a low voice, but Itachi, who was pierced by him, immediately turned into dozens of crows and scattered. Some even snatched the Kusanagi sword from Kabuto's hand and cut off the horn on his forehead. Dealing with a wild boar is the same as dealing with Kabuto. It's okay. The enemy has become stronger, and the Uchiha brothers' attacks have also become stronger. To Susanoo, they think highly of Kabuto. Hey. I thought the snake on Kabuto was wrapped around his body, but it turned out to be connected to his body. Puff. Why is it connected to the stomach? This position is easy to cause misunderstandings. I don't understand what Kabuto was thinking. Just learned from Orochimaru. It doesn't matter what you look like after entering the Sage mode, but why do you want to grow a snake on your stomach? Now look, you just created a weakness for yourself and let Sasuke shit you. It feels like it's not just Sasuke whose fighting style has changed, but Uchiha Itachi's too. You don't take the injury seriously because of the immortality of the impure world reincarnation, right? You just run right into the enemy's blade. This is not comparable to Sasuke's. To put it bluntly, Sasuke is overconfident and doesn't know what to do. Itachi, on the contrary, makes full use of the characteristics of his body. He won't die anyway, so he can do many things that he couldn't do when he was alive. You guys analyzed it so well, but it turned out to be a crow clone again, and Itachi still used the same tactics as before. This makes him more reliable. He knows that his body will not be affected by the injury, but he still doesn't abuse this characteristic. Doesn't this show that he is very stable? You guys are exaggerating. The two landed at the same time. Kabuto touched his broken horn indifferently, while Sasuke quickly approached Itachi and continued to fight side by side with him. You should be able to capture the boar alive now. Itachi recalled the failed boar mission in the past and chuckled at Sasuke. Sasuke seemed a little embarrassed and turned his head away, then quickly changed the subject. Before capturing the boar, let's deal with the snake first. It's really strange. Looking at the intimate interaction between the two brothers, Kabuto kept smiling and said puzzledly, "You brothers seem to have a good relationship now. Sasuke, you hated your brother so much before, and the brothers even had a big fight. I guess something must have happened when you killed Itachi. At this point, you want to hear someone who has died once. What does he know? Look, even the addition of a few horns on his head requires adjustments to his movements in order to achieve the same results as before, not to mention the addition of a big snake on his belly. All kinds of attack and defense actions need to be redesigned, otherwise his combat effectiveness will definitely be dragged down. Logically speaking, Kabuto should not have thought of this. Let's not discuss his aesthetic issues for now, but as a scientist, precision and pragmatism are his primary considerations. Here we can only guess that the white snake on his belly has other uses. Uchiha Itachi, why are you so proud? You obviously haven't achieved any results. Maybe Itachi is proud of his brother's growth? You see, he is joking and is going to let Sasuke catch wild boars. Kabuto really doesn't know anything. If that's the case, don't be so confident to invite Sasuke to join you. Sasuke is chasing Itachi now, probably just wanting to know if what the masked man said is true. As long as it is confirmed, he can attack Konoha without any psychological barriers? Sasuke was silent for a few seconds, then looked at Itachi and uttered a word, the truth. Sasuke's answer made Kabuto's expression change. Based on Sasuke's behavior of joining Akatsuki after Itachi's death, he analyzed that Sasuke already knew the truth about Itachi, and even pointed out that Sasuke's goal was to destroy Konoha that hurt Itachi. Sasuke remained silent, so Kabuto showed an expected expression and said, "You really don't deny it. You want to confirm the truth with your brother who you met by chance, so you followed me. Was it like that at that time? Is it like this now? Asking every detail. So, isn't it strange? Itachi is a man who is willing to kill his compatriots to protect Konoha. Isn't it the opposite of what you do? Chapter 240. From Kabuto's tone, he knows the truth about Itachi, but he thinks Sasuke doesn't know, so he wants to hide it and trick him into joining. Did this guy work as an undercover agent in Konoha before? Naruto was fooled by him. Deception and inducement are commonplace for an undercover spy, not worth mentioning. I'm really curious about how Uchiha Itachi will deal with the problem that his brother has completely opposite ideas from his own. Will he just avoid talking about it and let him destroy Konoha? So, you and I are the same Sasuke. I am a fellow Taoist. Because I am also the successor of the goal that Orochimaru failed to achieve, the plan to destroy Konoha. At this point, Kabuto slowed down his speech and persuaded Sasuke, think about it carefully. If you want to stab Itachi in the back and join my side, do it now. It's okay. Don't feel guilty. This guy has been dead for a long time. The one in front of you is just a fake. Sasuke had a cold face, remembering that after the masked man told Itachi the truth, the two came to a tavern in Konoha to collect information. Here, Sasuke heard several Konoha ninjas talking about Itachi. Kabuto, you are really good at finding a point of entry. Just now you targeted Itachi to get Sasuke to stand with you, and now you have changed to Konoha. Although your words make sense logically, don't you think Sasuke is a fool? How can you fool him successfully if you go back on your words like this? Kabuto's science and technology are very high, but his rhetoric is quite average. He clearly knows that Sasuke has already understood the truth about Itachi and is planning to destroy Konoha for him, but every word he says is still stepping on Sasuke's minefield, such as give Itachi a knife. He has been dead for a long time. Fake. Are you really serious about recruiting Sasuke? In their eyes, Itachi was a villain who killed his people and joined a terrorist organization. Everyone applauded his death. Sasuke, who already knew the truth, would naturally not remain indifferent. He was so angry that he wanted to kill people directly, but was dissuaded by the masked man on the grounds that these people did not know the truth. Sasuke felt that Itachi's sacrifice was not worth it, but it did not mean that he would stand on the side of Kabuto. Don't confuse me with you. Without considering Itachi beside him, Sasuke directly expressed his thoughts. I want to destroy Konoha. It's my own business. Seemingly moved by Sasuke's attitude, Kabuto restrained the evil smile on his face. I can understand Itachi's actions. Before, I didn't feel anything when I said bearing stigma and infamy, but now I see these Konoha ninjas discussing Itachi. I know how determined he was to accept that mission. Tisk, how ironic. An Uchiha who was ostracized by Konoha may be the person who cares about the village the most in the entire Konoha. Although his younger brother ranks before the village, this is not something that an ordinary ninja can do. Sasuke gritted his teeth in anger and stared at the Konoha ninjas who looked down on Itachi on the sky. Even if Sasuke's resentment towards Itachi has not been completely eliminated, he will definitely not feel good when he hears others say bad things about him, especially Konoha, for which Itachi has given everything, and the people of this village belittling him is even more unacceptable. See. These are the people you want to protect. What qualifications do they have to be protected by you? Actually, I'm the same as Itachi. Kabuto pushed his glasses and said expressionlessly, although I was lucky to be taken in by Konoha's ninjas, I was quickly trained to be a spy with an unknown background. In order to gain the trust of the enemy, I was trained to be a medical ninja. Kabuto talked about how miserable he was as a spy, Konoha's distrust of him, and his hatred for Konoha. Then he linked his experience with Itachi, brought up the next topic, and said to Sasuke sincerely, no one understands you better than me, so let me be your brother from now on, let me stand by your side, and we will. Kabuto, please stop showing off your eloquence, you are really not suitable for this. It's amazing, you said you understood Itachi 1 foot, and then you told Sasuke in front of Itachi that you wanted to be his brother. Kabuto, you are actually deliberately angering Sasuke, right? Sasuke, don't be fooled. Itachi was indifferent to Kabuto's similar life experience. He was good at guessing people's hearts and had seen through the other party's true face. He is a better spy than me, so he is better at deceiving than me. And, no matter how dark the village is, no matter how many conflicts there are, I am Uchiha Itachi of Konoha. Itachi's words made Sasuke and Kabuto were speechless. Perhaps to stop him from thinking too much, Itachi said to Sasuke, Sasuke, it's not someone else who made you what you are now, it's me. Although I am not in a position to judge your decision now, but since it has come to this, I still want to tell you something. But before that, we need to clear the field. So stop him first. Other Konoha ninjas think he is a traitor, but he thinks he is Uchiha Itachi of Konoha. There are people like this in every village, only it is rare to be so loyal, and it is even rarer for a ninja from a great clan. Since Itachi values the village so much, then what he wants to say to Sasuke is probably to persuade him. Letting Sasuke give up the idea of attacking Konoha is also saving him. No one really thinks that one person can destroy Konoha. Judging from Sasuke's attitude towards Kabuto, he is very likely not going to ask for external help. The deception failed, and Kabuto knew that he would get serious next, but he still had enough confidence in himself because his advantages were all on the table. As long as I am still the caster of the impure world reincarnation, you cannot kill me. Even if I am injured, it is meaningless in front of my recovery ability. Moreover, I have blocked my vision, and the illusions you are so proud of are completely ineffective against me. You two brothers have no chance of winning. It is precisely because I am the caster that this impure world reincarnation is invincible. Itachi said that Kabuto's speech was annoying but still made sense. Sasuke also understood this and asked Itachi what strategy he had to deal with it. Illusions are ineffective, physical skills are almost ineffective, and you have to hold back to avoid killing the opponent. There are obviously two pairs of Mangekyou Sharingan here, but it has become a situation where the two are evenly matched or even slightly inferior. Chapter 241. No way, Kabuto has too many tricks. Since Kabuto can absorb the advantages of others, is his strength really limited to what he has shown now? Apart from anything else, doesn't Orochimaru have other experimental subjects with special abilities? What Kabuto said is indeed very reasonable. Because the strength is strong enough, the weakness is no longer a weakness. He doesn't know the true power of Uchiha. Itachi took a few steps forward with a calm face and explained to Sasuke behind him, Uchiha has eye techniques that can be performed without vision, but the price is the loss of light. The familiar description made Sasuke suddenly think of Danzo, the shriveled old man with a whole arm of Sharingan, Izanagi. Itachi was surprised to hear the name of this move from Sasuke. When he heard that Danzo had used this move when fighting him, Itachi even couldn't believe that Sasuke could still survive. However, Sasuke did not plan to talk to Itachi about a battle, and asked, "Don't worry about that for now, how can I use Izanagi? The real power of Uchiha? This sounds a bit familiar, have you heard it before?" When Itachi introduced a Mangekyou to Sasuke before, the eternal Mangekyou or something like that. The secrets of the Uchiha are really getting more and more, even the forbidden technique that costs blindness has emerged. Am I dazzled? I seem to see an old man with a whole arm of Sharingan in Sasuke's memory. Isn't this guy Danzo? Damn, what's up with that disgusting arm? Although it can be seen from the example of Kakashi that people from other races can transplant Sharingan, it is rare for Danzo to play with it so much. It seems that Konoha's participation in the Uchiha's extermination is higher than expected. Those killed by Itachi, the eyes of the Uchiha people will not be dug away by the high-rise wooden leaves. It is indeed a man who is called the darkness of the ninja. It is convenient for us to reveal to us. Tsunade's face is dark like the bottom of the pot. Why is the damn Tibetan? Sorry, Lord Tsuchikage, this is an internal incident of our Konoha. I have no comment for the time being. You can wait for the news announced by our village later. Really? That's a pity. Anoki chuckled and stopped the topic. It's rare to have such a chance to see Konoha's jokes. He felt that even his back pain was relieved a little. From Sasuke's response, did he kill Danzo? As expected, after knowing the truth about Itachi, Sasuke will definitely seek revenge on the Konoha high level. What is the effect of Izanagi? Itachi was surprised that Sasuke could survive even though he knew he had the Mangekyou. After all, it's the real power of Uchiha. Uchiha's words are not worth believing. Who knows if there will be another real power of Uchiha in the future. Although the memories on the sky were only a short moment, for Sasuke who had been keeping his Sharingan open, the arm with Sharingan embedded in it was still clearly reflected in his eyes. So Sasuke's eyes were bloodshot in an instant, and he really wanted to run to the prison and kill the old guy Danzo with his own hands. Now Sasuke's impression of Konoha has become extremely bad. If he hadn't retained a bit of reason, he might have rushed out of this confinement place now. At the same time, Sasuke's resentment towards Itachi rose again. In order to protect those who slandered you, you obeyed the orders of this old guy, Uchiha Itachi. How much better are you than me? This time it's not Izanagi, but another forbidden technique corresponding to it. I'm ready, the ultimate eye technique that controls that guy's fate. Kabuto rushed towards Itachi, so Itachi didn't explain too much. Holding the Kusanagi sword and went up to block it, he held the opponent's chakra scalpel and shouted the name of the move at the same time, Izanami. After the collision, the two retreated at the same time, and Itachi took the opportunity to explain, if Izanagi is a technique to change fate, then Izanami is a technique to determine fate. Itachi raised the Kusanagi sword and took a defensive action, reminding Sasuke behind him, Sasuke, don't get too far away from me. Oh my god. There's more than one forbidden technique that can surpass the main Gekyo. In addition to Izanagi, there is also Izanami. Damn. You talk so mysteriously. What about controlling fate, changing fate, and determining fate? Why don't you just say you are a god? This should just be the usual boasting before taking action, such as you are already dead, I saw your death, fate is on my side and so on. Come on, you talk so awesome, let me see what the effect is. Itachi's description made Sasuke both surprised and expectant, but Kabuto, who also heard his speech, didn't care. I don't know what you are going to do, but for me now, all attacks are ineffective. It seems that you don't know what kind of character I am yet. Senjutsu, inorganic reincarnation. As Kabuto made a seal, the densely packed stalactites in the cave stretched out without warning and stabbed the two people on the opposite side. Itachi immediately used Susanoo to protect Sasuke, but he himself was pierced through the body by several stalactite columns because he didn't have time to dodge. Looking at this scene, Kabuto said proudly, this technique can give life to inorganic objects and control them, which is fundamentally different from the technique of controlling objects through chakra. Isn't it too strong? Why is Sasuke so slow? What the hell is it that Kabuto has launched an attack and there is no reaction at all? Uchiha Sasuke, your main Gekyo Sharingan is fake. Chapter 242. Although the explosive power and output intensity have increased, the reaction and tactical level have plummeted. Could it be that because the hatred in his heart has disappeared, he can't exert his strength at all? Maybe it's because my brother is around that I can't exert my strength, and I subconsciously rely on him, giving life to inorganic objects and controlling them. Although it sounds powerful, is there any difference between the effect of this inorganic reincarnation move of Kabuto and ordinary Earth escape? Maybe it's more flexible? Faster? Look, Itachi can only protect Sasuke, and he can't dodge in time. Isn't this the effect of the fairy technique? After Naruto enters the fairy mode, his original moves will also become stronger, giving life and control. How come I seem to have heard similar descriptions somewhere? The first generation of Hokages would release. It seems that I can accept it now. Although I still don't understand how powerful it is, I already know that this is a very high-end ability. Using Susanoo to protect Sasuke, I didn't have time to dodge. Don't worry, I won't hurt Sasuke, he is my important experimental subject. Kabuto didn't take the two of them seriously at all, took out a kunai with a talisman from the mouth of the white snake connected to his body, and said his plan without hiding. Okay, now I'm going to insert this talisman into your head. You know what it will become. After saying that, Kabuto rushed straight towards Itachi. Fortunately, Sasuke finally reacted at this time. He saw him quickly cast Amaterasu and set up a Amaterasu protection around himself and Itachi to stop Kabuto steps forward. It's so funny. Sasuke looked down on Kabuto before, but it was actually Kabuto who really didn't take him seriously. It's mainly because Sasuke performed so badly in this battle. He didn't have the feeling of total control that he had when he fought Itachi before. Well, that feeling of total control was also arranged by Itachi. Although Sasuke didn't appear on the sky screen many times, it can be seen that his strength level is still good. As for why he performed so badly after his strength increased, the only explanation is that his opponent is more difficult than him. Under the influence of Amaterasu's high temperature, the deformed stalactites returned to their original state, and Itachi was able to escape and regain his ability to move. Even though his moves were cracked, Kabuto didn't look discouraged at all. He was still confident and even arrogant. I'm sorry, I'm sure to win. I'm getting closer and closer to my goal of completing everything and dominating everything. I can't imagine myself failing. The laws and principles of nature that Orochimaru has been trying hard to collect and study are now stored in my body. From humans to snakes, and from snakes to dragons, the closest thing to the sage of six paths in the world is me. Compared to me, what is Uchiha? I can no longer tell whether Kabuto is the sage of six paths or not. Shin was still arrogant. Although his speech was arrogant, the two Uchiha who opened the main Gekyo Sharingan were indeed suppressed by him. It's powerful, but it's a bit exaggerated to compare yourself to the six paths sage. He is the god of creation in mythology. Kabuto's ability is not enough to compare with him. Everyone knows about bragging. Sometimes I also want to punch Hashirama Senju and kick Uchiha Madara. It's normal, very normal. So you guys should use Izanami quickly. Sasuke couldn't tolerate Kabuto's derogatory remarks against Uchiha, but just as he was about to refute, he was interrupted by Itachi, and then he heard Itachi say, "Kabuto, looking at you now is like seeing my past self. So, you will definitely lose." Kabuto thought Itachi was saying something harsh, and emphasized with a somewhat unhappy expression, "Listen carefully, I am no longer a small role. It can be said that I am now the center of this war. I used Akatsuki to lead the war in a direction that is beneficial to me, and I also forced the Uchiha brothers into a desperate situation." Itachi did not respond to Kabuto's speech, but instead said to himself, "I have a opposition and understanding are two kinds of feelings, because you and I are both spies living in a hypocritical world." Unlike Itachi, Sasuke showed his pride in Uchiha openly. So he wanted to destroy Konoha. In addition to revenge for his brother, he also wanted to avenge Uchiha. Well, is Kabuto confident or inferior? Why does he emphasize his role in this war and keep boasting about his deeds? Did he think he was a talentless person before? He said he was a talentless person people will be denied, and now he has obtained other people's talents, so he is eager to show them. So, his real purpose is to get other people's attention. No, recognition. Wow. I didn't expect that you, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, actually have the same idea as Naruto. What, do you have a tragic past? I used to be confused about who I am, until now I finally understand that understanding yourself does not mean doing everything and making yourself perfect, but knowing what you can do and what you can't do. However, such words are naturally impossible to convince the self-confident Kabuto, who only heard him mocking in return. Self-consolation of a stray dog. Do you mean that you should admit that you are powerless and then choose to give up? No, what I want to say is, learn to forgive your own powerlessness. As Itachi said, Naruto's figure appeared in his mind again. It is precisely because I can't solve everything that I have partners around me who can make up for my shortcomings. Similarly, this is also to prevent myself from underestimating what I can do. Tisk. You guys from Konoha really like to put yourself in other people's shoes, always wanting to empathize with others, trying to pull everyone into your camp this way. If I didn't use my eyes, and didn't pay attention to my voice, I would probably think that Itachi's words were said by Naruto. Although Itachi and Naruto have similar ideas, their styles of doing things are very different. One can even kill his clan members for the sake of the village, while the other wants to save even the enemy. Isn't this the difference between adults and children? One can only make choices, while the other wants everything. Chapter 243. If you want to know yourself, you have to face and admit who you really are. It's because I failed to do this that I lied to others and to myself. People who can't admit themselves are doomed to fail, just like me in the past. Itachi's words evoked memories of Kabuto. He restrained the arrogant smile on his face and said in a deep voice, "How much do you know about me? I have been exploring who I am in my own way." Always, at this time, a white-haired boy with a head injury appeared in the sky. He leaned against a broken tree and was dying. He was in a battlefield where a war had just taken place. Fortunately, a gentle woman dressed as a nun found him and treated him. It was a pity that perhaps because of the head injury, the boy could not remember his name or who his parents were. Does Itachi feel that he has failed somewhere? Could it be that Sasuke has deviated from his arrangement and therefore feels that he has failed? If so, then he is really stubborn. That's not right. Judging from Itachi's remarks, he should also feel that it is wrong for him to arrange Sasuke's life arbitrarily, so failure must not refer to this matter. Are you going to reveal Kabuto's past next? These people often reveal some incredible information every time they recall. Did you lose your memory due to the war? A survivor on the battlefield. She is a kind and beautiful young lady. Something must have happened to her next, so Kabuto's temperament has changed drastically. Based on this, the nun took in the boy and brought him back to the orphanage where she was the director. This is the first memory. From the beginning, I was nobody. I had nothing, I didn't know who my parents were, and I didn't know my own name. A boy named Yurusi in the orphanage had a bad attitude, but he didn't seem to have any malicious intent. He proudly instructed the white-haired boy to say thank you after receiving help from others, but he was also troubled by not knowing how to address the boy. So the director named the boy Kabuto and said that from today on, she was his mother. The boy liked the name very much. To express his gratitude, he came to the director's office alone at night after everyone else fell asleep, and happened to hear the conversation between the director and two orphanage employees. That's how Kabuto got his name. So casual. Children in orphanages definitely don't get any profound names. Simple and easy to understand names are the most appropriate. He seems a little dumb, but he's quite polite. Why did he turn himself into a ghost? It's probably Orochimaru's fault. Scientists focus on practicality the most. They are the least concerned about aesthetics. Even a cool guy like Sasuke still looks ugly after activating the curse seal. Dean. Kabuto's expression was sad and confused. He thought he had completely let go of the past for so long, but when he saw the face of Yakashi Nono again, he couldn't help but recall the scene of him killing her. Orochimaru on the side watched Kabuto's expression change with interest. He really wanted to know what choice Kabuto would make after the content played on the sky screen ended. Should he continue to stay by his side? Or find a way to return to Konoha and the orphanage? Or take another path? No matter which one it is, Orochimaru is full of expectations, because this is the change he wants to see the most. It turned out that because of the war, the country and the village's aid to the orphanage was already seriously insufficient. Now there is another child, and the operation of the orphanage has become even more difficult. Kabuto, who was outside the door, heard their conversation and made a sound because he was too frustrated, attracting the attention of the three people in the house. The fat female nurse was not very good because of the funding issue, but she still took Kabuto to the clock diligently and told him the time to turn off the lights in a test. At first, Kabuto looked at the clock with an embarrassed face and said nothing. It was not until the dean put her glasses on his face that Kabuto easily told the specific time. In this way, the dean gave the glasses to Kabuto. Listening to her gentle words and looking at her gentle smile, Kabuto, who had always been expressionless, shed tears and choked up to thank several people. It turns out that Kabuto is still nearsighted. I thought his eyes were just for decoration. So even the sage mode can't improve the problem of myopia? Kabuto, who calls himself a dragon, still wears glasses now. That's not right. He may have been nearsighted when he was young, but his eyesight must have become stronger after ninja training. It's so strong that how could he still have a defect like myopia at that stage? The name is a mark, glasses are a tool. From the beginning, I was nobody. From the beginning, I had nothing. A few years have passed, and Kabuto has completely integrated into the orphanage. He has learned medical ninjutsu, and together with other people in the orphanage, he maintains the existence of the orphanage by treating ninjas on the battlefield in exchange for money. Although you are not a ninja, you are very skilled in medical ninjutsu. A Konoha ninja who was being treated said to Kabuto in a hoarse voice, "Your name is Kabuto, right? Do you want to be a ninja? I think you can become an excellent ninja, you can definitely." No. You just lost your memory. Why do you complicate the problem and feel that you are nothing? He didn't think so since he was a child? If so, his brain circuit is a bit abnormal. This highly recognizable voice, is it that man? Orochimaru is really sharp-eyed. He immediately took a fancy to Kabuto. The person being treated revealed his true face, and it was Orochimaru who had not yet defected at that time. Faced with Orochimaru's recruitment, Kabuto said frankly, "I don't have any such idea. I just want to make as much money as possible for the orphanage and stay here to help the director. She is so kind to me, but all I did was give her a pair of glasses." Orochimaru, who failed to recruit, was not discouraged and stopped the topic lightly. As night fell, 3 uninvited guests came to the orphanage. "You, who are called the Walking Priestess, are now taking care of children here." Danzo brought 2 followers and greeted him in a procedural manner. "It's been a long time since we last met, and your complexion is getting worse and worse." No. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244. Kabuto's goal at the beginning was very ordinary. Who would have thought that he would become an enemy of the entire ninja world in the future? The person who changed his life is really damned. If it weren't for him, there might not be the fourth ninja world war. Why is it Danzo again? I seem to have known the culprit who made Kabuto like that. This guy was born with a face that looks like he did bad things. It's actually a walking Maiko. The ace spy of Konoha is actually the director of an orphanage. No wonder I felt that this face was a little familiar from just now. I saw her in Tsunagakure, so Kabuto has inherited her mantle? Although the undercover target is Konoha, I gave up that name a long time ago. Period. The dean, whose full name is Yakashi Nono, looked at Danzo opposite him as if he was facing a great enemy and asked, "We should have already negotiated with Konoha about the aid money. What are you doing here now? You were once the top elite of the intelligence department. After leaving the route, you don't know anything. We are not here just for the aid money." Danzo's tone was very impolite. One of the two followers behind him, dressed as a member of the Aburim clan, explained, "We have received information that the Iwagakure village is formulating a large-scale combat plan. Now we need you to sneak into the Iwagakure village and investigate and confirm the authenticity of this information." Wow. Look at what she said, as if she could easily succeed in sneaking into the Iwagakure. If it was a walking Maiko, it wouldn't be difficult to do this kind of thing. Do you think anyone can be called an ace? How could Konoha put a master of this level in an orphanage as the director? Moreover, she is not very old. The pressure of spy work is so great that the average working time will not exceed 3 years. Those who can work for more than 5 years are already quite powerful masters. It is not a problem for the director of the orphanage to retire at this age. If the information is correct, please investigate the execution time and specific content of the operation plan, and then come back to report. It is estimated that this will be your long-term task. For this inexplicably assigned task, Yakashi Nono, who thought she had abandoned the past, naturally had no intention of accepting it. The two caregivers of the orphanage behind her also expressed dissatisfaction. However, Danzo had no intention of discussing this with the other party. He only heard him say in a stern tone, "Except for the walking priestess, no one else can do this long-term mission. There is no spy better than her in the route now. Mediocre people will eventually suffer a mental breakdown or defect to the enemy, but she will never betray Konoha. I know this very well. She said she retired, but in fact she has always been under Konoha's nose. She will be found when the village needs her. That's normal. God knows how much intelligence these ace spies have. How can they be out of sight? Danzo should be a very suspicious person. It can be seen from the past situation of the Uchiha clan. How can such a person say that a spy will never betray Konoha? This is the value of the word ace. In addition to the ability to collect intelligence undercover, the psychological quality must also be far superior to that of ordinary people. Those who can meet this condition are simply ninjas among ninjas, tools among tools. They really don't have to worry about the other party's betrayal. They are much better than Zabuza, who looks fierce and only emphasizes that he is a ninja. Ha, you bring up Zabuza again. Zabuza looked at the ridicule of the barrage with a frown on his face. Why do you always use him as an example for no reason? What's wrong with being emotional? He is just following the trend of the times. Now it is not popular to be a ninja who abandons emotions. Looking at your expression, I believe you have understood it. No. That's right, if you refuse, the orphanage will never get money in the future. The female nurse couldn't help it when she heard it. How can this be? The third Hokage has already agreed. He can't allow this to happen. However, Danzo and the other two ignored the female nurse's accusation. The follower dressed as a Burim continued to threaten Danzo, saying that the money in the orphanage should be careful not to be stolen. Orochimaru, another follower, also said that the children in the orphanage should be careful not to be stolen. The male nurse was furious at their remarks. You are too shameless. What kind of ninja is this? Although I know that some ninjas will do whatever it takes to perform their missions, Danzo and the others are too mean. Damn it. What a disgusting method. Not only did they not pay, but they also threatened. This guy is a bad guy from the moment he appears on the scene. He is a perfect match for an old guy like Danzo. It feels like the third Hokage has been stepped on again. His apprentices and teammates don't take his identity seriously. He promised that others would go back on their word. This Hokage is too shameless. You didn't understand the situation. Danzo suddenly said in a harsh voice, looking at the three people opposite with cold eyes. As long as you can protect Konoha, you can do anything. The lifeblood of the drug master Nono was caught, so he could only accept the task assigned by Danzo helplessly. Danzo still did not restrain himself and put forward another unacceptable condition. It is because you are not ruthless enough that you have fallen to this point. You are really not suitable for the route. Also, in order to obtain the information this time, one of my subordinates died, so I will choose one of the children here to replace him. This condition touched the bottom line of Yakashi Nono, but in the face of her strong opposition, the Aburim follower said nonchalantly, "These are two different things. We will prepare the money next time, but this time you have to exchange one person." Is Danzo always using the reason of protecting Konoha as the reason for his actions? It was like this before when he made Itachi exterminate the clan, and now it is the same for forcing the Miko to walk. The purse is completely controlled by others. What can this orphanage use to resist? So Kabuto joined the route and became Danzo's subordinate, right? It was Danzo who turned him into that, right? Don't be so hasty to draw a conclusion. Let's wait and see. Maybe it was Orochimaru. Don't be so hasty to object. There are children among you who want to become Konoha's ninja. Ask them. Maybe there really is one. Danzo's tone was very calm, as if he was not worried that this condition could not be realized. Chapter 245. And the result was exactly as he thought. Kabuto, who hid outside the window and listened to their conversation, voluntarily chose to go with Danzo and the others. In front of the orphanage, Yakashi Nono and a group of children watched Kabuto's back, looking reluctant. Kabuto, why? Not wanting to worry everyone, Kabuto smiled and explained, I am suitable to be a ninja, and I also want to study medical ninjutsu in depth. But even a carefree person like Yarusi can see that Danzo and the other two are not good people, so naturally he doesn't want Kabuto to go with them. Kabuto, are you going to give up the bond we have had for 3 years? Come back soon. Huh? Did they say that the director of the orphanage is an ace spy? You can't see that. What is Kabuto really thinking? They didn't even notice Kabuto eavesdropping outside the window. This basic skill has been lost too completely. Even if they knew, what can they do? Do they have the ability to resist? The overly mature Kabuto knew that they had no choice, and a fake smile appeared on his face. He looked at the clock hanging on the outer wall of the orphanage and said softly to the children in front of him with worried faces, have you all forgotten the rules of the orphanage? It's time to go to bed. The next scene changes quickly, and Kabuto's outfit is constantly changing. Kumagakure, Mistgakure, Sanjakure, and Iwagakure, Kabuto wanders around the villages in different identities to collect intelligence for Konoha. His outstanding talent makes him like a fish in water in spy work, but he is eventually exposed in Iwagakure and hunted by the enemy. Hiding between a narrow rock wall, Kabuto looked at the pocket watch in his hand with a nostalgic look. It's been 5 years since I left the orphanage. I really want to see the director and the others again. I thought it was an ability that was only realized after training. Now it seems that Kabuto Yakashi is a natural spy. At least he has a considerable talent in hiding his emotions. What? Kabuto Yakashi has been an undercover agent in 4 other ninja villages. Hey. This is too good. Now everyone who is looking at the sky curtain, recall carefully, have you seen this person in the village? It's better if you don't say it. After what you said, I seem to have a vague impression. Me too. I felt that Kabuto Yakashi looked familiar when he first appeared on the sky. Now it seems that I must have met him once in the village. You other ninja villages are not good enough. Look at our Iwagakure. We found his trace right away. What's so good about this? Judging from the fact that he is still alive, you Iwagakure didn't do anything to him at all. The most amazing thing is that he could even sneak into Kurogakure. That closed country didn't even notice that there was an outsider. In the meeting room of the 5 cages meeting in the Hokage building, the cages looked at each other with different expressions, but none of them expressed dissatisfaction with Kabuto's actions. After all, planting spies in other villages is one of the daily tasks of the village leaders. Even now, there are many of their undercovers lurking in Konoha. Suddenly, a kunai shot from above. Kabuto, who had been on guard, easily avoided the attack and even killed the enemy who rushed towards him with a chakra scalpel. At this time, the clouds covering the moon dispersed, and the moonlight allowed Kabuto to see the enemy's appearance clearly, but what he saw was a face he could never have imagined. Dean. Kabuto's face changed drastically and he rushed to the pharmacist Nono, performing medical ninjutsu on her chest and abdomen that he had cut open. How could this happen? Why are you here? While treating, Kabuto remembered what happened in the orphanage 5 years ago. Could it be that she is still carrying out a mission at that time? Hey. It's a walking shrine, maiden. By the way, is your Iwagakure a public toilet? People can come whenever they want. An undercover agent is surrounded, and your Iwagakure search speed is not as fast as that of people from other villages. Your ability and quality are worrying. Damn. Don't talk without any hesitation. Can these two people be classified as ordinary ninjas? The next thing should be the reason for Kazuto's change of heart. Could it be that he changed his mind because he was too seriously injured and couldn't be saved? Who are you? Why? Want to treat me? The pharmacist Nono, who was a little confused because of the serious injury, asked intermittently. Guessing that she might have lost her glasses, Kazuto quickly took off his glasses and put them on her face. It's me, Dean. I'm Kazuto. Don't worry, I can definitely cure you. Unexpectedly, after seeing Kazuto's face clearly, the pharmacist Nono asked in confusion, You, are who? The gentle words shocked Kabuto's heart instantly. He widened his eyes and became dazed. At the same time, the chakra in his hand slowly disappeared, and he froze in place. Two Iwagakure ninjas quickly rushed over, but only found the medicine master Nono, who had lost his breath. Just because he didn't recognize who Kabuto was, he gave up on treatment. Maybe this matter is very important to Kabuto. Didn't he say before that he was nobody? If this is the idea he has had since he was a child, then it seems reasonable that even the most important people don't recognize him, and he would be mentally traumatized. This is a disease, a very serious mental illness. Can't you say anything after rescuing the person? Just watch her die like this. This mental state is too extreme. There seems to be something wrong here. Kabuto's appearance clearly shows the shadow of his childhood. How could the dean, who values children so much, not recognize him? She even attacked Kabuto. Beside a river, Kabuto frantically washed his hands, then looked at the blurred face on the river, revealing an expression of doubt about life. Why doesn't the dean remember me? Why? Why doesn't she have any impression of me at all? Why? If even she doesn't remember me, then what am I? What is everything the dean gave me? My name was given by the dean, she adopted me, and this pair of glasses is hers. Kabuto took off his glasses, looked at the more blurred figure in the water, and cried in his voice, Who is this? You seem to be unable to see your true self. A hoarse voice suddenly came from the river. Kabuto quickly put on his glasses, and then saw Orochimaru coming out of the water. You have become an excellent ninja. I remember everything, Kabuto. Chapter 246. It's because the other party didn't recognize him, and then he was hit. This thing is also an obsession, but in the final analysis, it's just too full and complaining for no reason. Why do you always worry about who you are? Can't you live a simpler life? This is why others can appear on the sky, and you can only speak here. If appearing on the sky requires such conditions, then I never want to see myself there, and I don't want to think about how many people who appear on the sky have an easy life. They're all bitter and resentful. Wow. Orochimaru, please don't scare me, okay? What's the matter with him suddenly emerging from the water? What a bad guy. Kabuto was startled, but he recognized Orochimaru's identity at a glance. Orochimaru stood up from the river and walked to the shore, saying concisely, I have been secretly monitoring you and Nono. Come with me, I will tell you what you want to know. Although Kabuto remained fully alert, he could not withstand the temptation of the truth and followed Orochimaru to his secret base. As soon as he arrived at the base, Kabuto could not help asking about Orochimaru's purpose and the truth about Nono. Orochimaru took a leisurely seat on the chair opposite Kabuto, and went straight to the point without leaving anyone hanging. I'll tell you frankly, Gen has long decided to get rid of you and your dean. Gen wants to get rid of Kabuto and his dean? Why? Do you think Danzo is also an undercover agent from another village? Otherwise, why is he always persecuting his own people? Isn't Orochimaru in the same group as Danzo? Why is he here to sabotage us now? Although they are all bad guys will also repel each other. How could someone like Orochimaru be willing to be inferior to others? What's going on? Unexpectedly the answer shocked Kabuto, and Orochimaru chuckled and explained, because you are too good as spies. You know too much? How could it be? For the sake of the village, I have been desperately collecting intelligence for so long. Now. Kabuto's eyes became empty and desperate as Orochimaru told this story, and then Orochimaru continued to explain, intelligence sometimes has a more powerful lethality than ninjutsu and weapons. Now you have been identified as a dangerous person by them. As spies, you were destined to have such an ending from the beginning, and even your mutual destruction was already written in the script. Nonsense. Although the fate of undercover spies is generally not good, most of them are discovered by the enemy and sacrificed. If every spy who survives will be eliminated by their own people, why would they want to be undercover spies? Didn't Danzo say before that Nono would never betray Konoha? Why is he trying to get rid of her now because she has too much information? Could it be that Danzo has some dirty secrets that she has? No matter what that guy does, it won't be surprising. It seems that I can still see Danzo's face. While saying that this is to protect Konoha, he issued an order to deal with the spies who knew his embarrassing stories. After you left the orphanage, Danzo immediately I told your dean the real reason for your departure. So your dean asked him to give you back your freedom, and Danzo proposed this in exchange a few years ago, asking you to assassinate a man for him. You may find it strange, but the assassination target is you. This inexplicable development made Kabuto's head turn around. What kind of condition is this for my release? What's going on? Why didn't the dean find out that it was me? I said, they wanted to get rid of both of you at the same time from the beginning, so they did something. Orochimaru said and threw out 7 or 8 photos. Except for 2 or 3 photos of Kabuto a few years ago, the others were all of a strange man who looked slightly similar to Kabuto. So it's true that hiding some things will really lead to bad things. Although the original intention is good, the two people don't say anything for each other, and the result is that they will only be used by middlemen like Danzo. Is this Danzo also sick? Why did he want Nono to assassinate Kabuto a few years ago? Kabuto couldn't have found out any dirt on him a few years ago. Could it be that Orochimaru felt that being Danzo's subordinate was too dangerous, so he pretended to obey? Danzo is a psychopath. If you don't want him, don't recruit him. After recruiting him, why send someone to assassinate him? I see. Through the photo, Nono was you couldn't recognize Kabuto. What a stupid plan. Damn, it took several years to get rid of 2 spies. Why don't you just transfer them back to Konoha and rush in somewhere secret? Why bother? Is it to add some fun to your boring life? Danzo must be an undercover from another village. He arranged such a stupid assassination plan, but he didn't kill anyone. Not only did he lose an ace spy, but he also made enemies for Konoha. He just thought Konoha wasn't dying fast enough. In order to prevent you from meeting, the places you infiltrated were far apart. Your dean learned about your safety and your growth process through photos. But the photos were replaced with someone else's in the middle. After a long time, Nono, who didn't know the truth, mistook someone else for you. Using a long time to brainwash is one of the common methods used by General. This person is another Kabuto. Nana would never have dreamed that you were the real Kabuto, so she wanted to kill you without hesitation. She thought you were a traitor, a double agent who hated the village. After listening to Orochimaru's account of the whole story, Kabuto looked at him with a gloomy and terrifying expression, and then you were sent by the route to deal with the one who survived? That's right, right. Is this Nana really an ace spy? She believed what people like Danzo said, and never doubted the photos he sent. Even if she doubted it, what would happen? There's no way to prove it, right? It's really amazing to have a boss like Danzo. Is Konoha really so powerful that even such a master can be sacrificed at will? Orochimaru was sent to deal with the survivors. If he hadn't turned against us, maybe Danzo's plan would really succeed, successful as hell. Whether Kabuto can survive depends on Orochimaru's mind, but whether Nono can survive also depends on Kabuto's mentality at the time. If Nono hadn't said much, Kabuto might have cured him directly. In summary, Danzo is an idiot. Chapter 247. After saying this, Kabuto used his chakra scalpel to pounce on Orochimaru and cut his neck without mercy. I have always wanted to know what I am. I thought I had found it. But thanks to you, the root, I can't figure out who I am anymore. Kabuto attacked Orochimaru in a venting manner, crying and wailing. The glasses are obviously the bond between me and the dean. The name I got should be mine. No matter what happens, the dean should not forget me. But now everything is wrong. So, who am I? After recovering from his shock, Kabuto was immediately shocked by the tragic situation he created, but the next second, an unharmed Orochimaru immediately crawled out of his original body. How brave. He actually attacked Orochimaru directly. He's just giving up. He feels that the meaning of his existence has been taken away, So he doesn't take his life seriously. Is Kabuto's despair and pain just because he can't figure out who he is? Is he not sad at all about the death of his director? That shouldn't be the case. From the fact that he took the initiative to stand up for the orphanage, it can be seen that he has feelings for the people there. Proving who he is probably extremely important to Kabuto. Orochimaru is really willing to let the other party kill him in order to recruit his subordinates. His original body was chopped to pieces, but a new one came out of his mouth and ignored all the injuries. Orochimaru's substitution technique, although it's very perverted, it's really practical. You just haven't collected enough materials to prove yourself. Glasses, name, and your younger self can't prove the real you. Orochimaru spread his hands and said to Kabuto, "Isn't this good? If everything now can't satisfy you, then why don't you find something that can replace it?" Kabuto was very confused. Orochimaru came to kill him, but now he was instructing him, so Orochimaru explained. "Because I also want to know who I am collecting all kinds of things. I will use the things I gradually collect to repeatedly test and prove, accumulate knowledge and abilities for myself, and then regenerate into a brand new and perfect self, and then get new things in the same way. This time I got you." It feels like they are destined to be together. Their ideas coincide with each other. They both have a heartfelt desire to collect new things. Kabuto has been with Orochimaru for so long. Learn how he recruits his subordinates. Every word he says touches the heart of others. Unlike you, everything is recruiting Sasuke without investigating thoroughly. Orochimaru's vision is really strong. Although he failed with Naruto, he saw that Kabuto has a good talent when they first met. If you want to know who you are, you just need to collect all the things and information in this world, and you will find the results you want. Although Orochimaru gave an explanation, Kabuto still didn't understand why he became his target. Orochimaru's answer was that he valued Kabuto's talent, and he and Danzo were not originally on the same side, so it was normal for him to be a little cunning when performing tasks related to the route. "From now on, you and I have separated from the roots of Konoha. From now on, I will be your boss, your brother, and your family. I will protect you from Danzo's harm. From today on, your new experience is this. When you were a child, you were taken in and raised by the captain of the medical team during the Battle of Kakayo Mountain. After returning to Danzo, your external identity is the adopted son of the captain of the medical team, Kakashi no. Although I admire your great goals, there is no need to collect everything in the world to know who you are. This process is not proportional to the goal. Why do you always discuss these profound topics? Why are you all so idle? Can't you have other pursuits, such as becoming a Hokage or something like that? This is probably the after effect of being strong. Only strong people are qualified to have such troubles. Orochimaru just wanted to find a tool to help him collect things. It just so happened that Kabuto had similar ideas to him, so he tricked him into coming. I didn't understand Orochimaru's arrangement. He didn't obey the order to kill Kabuto, which was already a violation of the rules. Why did he arrange a Konoha identity for Kabuto? Aren't you afraid that he will be discovered by Danzo after he returns? Please. Danzo is also a high-level official in Konoha. Why would he? I think he knows everything about even such a small pawn. Do you think that someone like Danzo who does dirty work knows everything? For example, if someone in the ninja school scolds him, it will be made into a formal document and submitted to his desk. From the appearance of Orochimaru here, it can be seen that he is responsible for this matter. Since there are so many places where he can make a move, it is too easy to hide it from Danzo. That's why Naruto will see Kabuto Kakashi in Konoha in the future. This guy really went undercover in all the 5 major ninja villages. From today, you will be reborn as Kabuto Kakashi. Orochimaru walked up to Kabuto and stretched out his hand towards him. I am Orochimaru. If you want to know who I am, then come to me. Kabuto joined Orochimaru's army. He not only acted as a spy and infiltrated the Akatsuki organization, but also served as an experimental assistant to complete various experimental studies. At the same time, in the process, Kabuto was constantly collecting things that could prove his existence, collecting the blood of various people, and finally taking all these foreign objects into his body. Scaly skin appeared on his arm, and the rejection of foreign objects made Kabuto sweat profusely, but even so, he had no intention of giving up. Not enough, not enough. This is not the real me. Orochimaru is definitely a good recruiter. His words and actions are impeccable. I can't imagine the scene of Kabuto refusing. Awesome, He even infiltrated the Akatsuki organization. Is there any force or organization in the whole ninja world that Kabuto has not been to? This guy lying on the ground is the Red Sand Scorpion. How did he make Scorpion think that Kabuto was an undercover agent he sent out? It is the seemingly impossible identity change that is the real skill of a spy. Chapter 248. You tricked me, Orochimaru. Scorpion's low voice was silent, but Deidara, who had been with him for a long time, could still hear a hint of anger. He couldn't help but tease, "Don't be angry, Dana. Orochimaru is also the target assigned to me by the boss. I will avenge you later. HMPH. Brat, I don't need your help with my business." Scorpion said dissatisfiedly, "I will let Orochimaru know what will happen if you fool me." Kabuto Yakashi is a versatile guy. He is proficient in medical research management, undercover collection and analysis, and combat layout. Konoha should choose him as Hokage. Which other village doesn't protect such talents well? As a result, Danzo killed them without hesitation. Is he extracting other people's blood and injecting it into his body? I advise those who want to replicate his operation not to try it easily. Normal people who do this will definitely die. It's definitely not a simple matter of mixing blood and injecting it into the body. If that's how you get the power of Azuki and Uzumaki, as well as some natural power, then all the bloodline ninjas in the ninja world are in trouble now. What a ruthless person. He's definitely a ruthless person. His mobility is comparable to Naruto's, so. I've been enriching myself. The painful memories ended, and Kabuto looked at Itachi with a cold face and said, "What I want is not your preaching, but your ability and information. You are ninja from Konoha, with a bloodline of the famous Uchiha clan. You have opened the main Gekkai Sharingan. You know many secrets. You have successfully prevented wars, and you have all kinds of powerful techniques and powers. Itachi, you have too many elements that can make you successful. Among the people I resurrected with the impure world reincarnation, no one is more suitable for me than you. My chess piece is my power." However, Itachi's thoughts are the opposite of his, and he thinks he is just a loser. After Kabuto's summary, I realized that Uchiha Itachi's life resume is so amazing. Is Uchiha Itachi mocking Kabuto? He envies everything Itachi has, but Itachi keeps emphasizing that he is a loser. It shouldn't be mocking. After all, he is a person who has a life winner script but makes himself hated by everyone. It's a very sincere expression. What is Kabuto's attitude towards Uchiha? He said that Uchiha is nothing before. Why does he seem to be envious now? From the perspective of ordinary people, Uchiha is indeed very powerful, but for Kabuto, who thinks he has nothing, he has reached his current state through hard work, and even beat 2 Uchiha clans, so it seems reasonable to think that they are nothing special. At this time, Kabuto's attitude also changed 180 degrees. He was no longer arrogant and said sincerely, "No, just now. Although I belittled the name of Uchiha in front of you, I still envy this name. It's just that for Itachi, who has never been limited to a clan since he was a child, the name of Uchiha is really nothing special." He wanted to dispel Kabuto's idea of this name, but for Kabuto, who knew some of the deeds of the Six-Path Sage, the power of Uchiha is really indispensable, so he didn't want to listen to Itachi's preaching anymore, and crossed his fingers to pose an attacking posture. Seeing this, Sasuke immediately took a defensive action and urged Itachi to use Izanami quickly. Who wouldn't envy the Uchiha clan? It was fine before I knew about the main Gekkai. Kakashi and Sasuke were great, but they were understandable. But since Uchiha Itachi appeared, the style has changed. Main Gekkai, Eternal Main Gekkai, Izanami, endless tricks. If anyone dares to say that the Uchiha clan is nothing special, I will be the first to criticize him. Didn't Uchiha Itachi say how little he cares about the Uchiha clan? Everyone else came to express their envy, but he still said nothing. What a big deal. If it's Naruto's golden form, can he beat the 3 people who are here now? This is a bit difficult for everyone. Their strengths are already seriously beyond the scope. I can't even understand most of them. How can I evaluate their strength gap? Lord Orochimaru once said this. The white snake on Kabuto's abdomen quickly expanded in a wriggling, and in a few breaths it grew into the upper body of Sakuan, one of the 4 sound ninjas. The two shared a body. This is the bloodline limit of the 2 brothers. The twin demon attack, it's not over yet, and Sakuan's appearance quickly changed into the second of the 4. Langfang used his best earth escape technique to separate the barrier of Amaterasu in front of him. If you want to know who you are, just collect all the materials and information in the world, and you can find the result you want. After he finished speaking, the next wave of attacks from Kabuto came. This time it was the spider web sprayed by Kodomaru of the four. Ugh. Damn. So disgusting. This time it's the sound four. How much power did Kabuto get from them? This move of the double demon attack was used by Sakon before, but it wasn't as disgusting as Kabuto. No, forget about the other two. Did you conjure up that fat guy named Jirabo just to use a move of Earth Escape? Can't you learn and use this ordinary escape technique yourself? Why do you have to grow a person in front of you? Tactics. This must be a tactic. Influence the opponent's mentality through this terrifying and disgusting image. Sakon, Jirabo and Kodomaru shuddered at the same time. They never thought that they would appear on the sky again in such an image. That damn four-eyed guy, all disgusting moves. Taeyuai gritted her teeth and cursed with an ugly face. Although she hadn't seen her yet, the others had appeared. How could Kabuto, the stitched monster, let her go? Sasuke, who had read relevant information from Orochimaru, understood the strength of these spider silks. With his reminder, the two brothers used Amaterasu to ignite the spider webs at the same time. However, at this time, Kabuto had already circled behind the two of them, and what greeted them was Kimimura's bloodline limit, the corpse vein, early dance. Kabuto's front and back attacks compressed the two's space for movement, so the two of them simultaneously used Susanoo to split the bone forest and spider webs and escape into the depths of the cave. The two's response did not exceed Kabuto's expectations. He saw that the half of his body in front of him had turned into Taeyuai's appearance. As the flute sounded, Itachi and Sasuke, who were hiding behind the stone pillars, instantly fell into illusion and froze in place. Chapter 249. I really didn't expect that this move that was used to deal with Konoha's Jinan before could be used in this level of battle now. It depends on whether it is suitable, not how powerful it is. Why do people still hold this idea now? What? That's Kimimaro, right? Kimimaro from the Kaguya clan, right? Can Kabuto master the Shikatsu Dori bloodline limit? Wow. This is a bit outrageous. It's okay to have organ-type bloodlines like the Sharingan and the Byakugan, but can this ability-type bloodline be taken away? This guy Kabuto Yakashi has surpassed Orochimaru. Now the Uchiha are really nothing. Your Sharingan can only copy ninjutsu. Can it master the bloodline limit like Kabuto? According to this performance, doesn't it mean that other bloodline limits may also be mastered by Kabuto? No wonder he dares to boast that he is the closest to the six-path sage. Kabuto, you give me surprises one after another. Even Kimimura's corpse veins can be mastered in this way. You have embarked on a completely different path from me. Orochimaru's eyes widened with excitement, making people worry that his eyeballs would fall out of his eye sockets. Even the usually calm Kabuto, after seeing his own form on the sky, not only did he not feel sick, but he was excited and showed a genuine smile. Thanks to the path that Lord Orochimaru pointed out for me, I can become the kind of person who integrates everything in the future. I really envy him, that kind of unconcealable sense of existence. At the end, Kabuto's voice became like a chant, and Orochimaru beside him showed a meaningful smile, staring at him with an appreciation of the work. Wow. Two people who have turned illusion into an art, actually fell for Kabuto's illusion. I have to admit that Kabuto's form is really strong. It has no disadvantages except that it looks a bit eye-catching. By the way, is it really necessary to grow a person on his belly? Since they are all things inside Kabuto, can't his original body perform the moves mastered by these people? No. I really don't understand the operation of growing a person on his belly. I have goosebumps all over my body. Sasuke, be careful. If you are caught by Kabuto, you will grow on his belly in the future. The three members of Team 7 shuddered subconsciously. Not to mention that they are only Jinan now. Even if their strength is greatly improved in the future, they will definitely feel physically uncomfortable after seeing Kabuto's form. Especially after thinking that such a pervert has set his eyes on Sasuke, the feeling of disgust is even more obvious. Sure enough, even such a powerful Susanoo can't prevent this sound. So you can't move. Next, Kabuto slowly walked towards the two of them, and the half of his body in front of him twisted and squirmed again to become the appearance of Orochimaru. I will use Lord Orochimaru to absorb you. I saw that half of Orochimaru's body turned into the form of a white-scaled snake. Kabuto spread his hands and proudly showed this change. How is it, Sasuke? You still remember Lord Orochimaru in this form? I got the laws and principles of nature that Orochimaru collected and studied. The only thing missing is Lord Orochimaru himself. Thanks to you for killing Lord Orochimaru, I finally succeeded in integrating him into my body. I can't thank you enough, Sasuke. Oh my god. Even Orochimaru is here. My Kabuto is so awesome. Can you make anyone grow on your stomach? Ugh. Damn, what form is this of Orochimaru? It's completely a monster, not even human-like. Kabuto's image was bad enough, but Orochimaru is no less disgusting. When the two are combined, the disgusting level is more than doubled. Is this image some kind of ninjutsu or their self-transformation as scientists? No matter which one it is, it's too fucking crazy. Now Kabuto is almost equivalent to the entire power of Orochimaru. Suddenly I think it's amazing that Itachi and Sasuke can fight to this point. Kabuto, you are not Orochimaru. It's okay to imitate someone you respect, but don't assimilate yourself to him. You can't become Orochimaru. Itachi still had that preachy tone, but Kabuto immediately gave a counterexample. Most people start by imitating when they do things, just like Sasuke imitated you before. Itachi glanced at Sasuke, who was silent, and then expressed his understanding. That kind of behavior itself it is a necessary process for growth, but not like you, who use it as a disguise. Even if you tie things that can enhance your own value to your body and then find the meaning of your existence from them, you will get nothing in the end. It is indeed impossible to become Orochimaru, because Kabuto in this state is obviously much stronger than Orochimaru. I think even if Kabuto meets Orochimaru now, Orochimaru may have to admit defeat. In terms of perversion, you are still better. Is Itachi talking too much nonsense? Isn't he here to stop the impure world reincarnation? Why is he always preaching to Kabuto? He has died once, doesn't he understand that only by beating the enemy down can the other party accept your great principles? You should learn from Naruto in this regard. Is he stalling for time? Maybe it's because the performance of Izanami takes a long time. I can't see his plan at all. Even if he said it himself, I don't know if it's true. We can only wait and see what happens next. I'll say it one last time, don't deceive yourself. People who can't recognize themselves are doomed to fail. You said that I am now doomed to fail? How to fail? Itachi's endless instructions made Kabuto impatient. Kabuto shouted angrily, and Orochimaru in front of his abdomen instantly stretched out and attacked the two brothers who were immobilized solved the illusion on each other by looking at each other, and then used Susanoo to grab the snake body and pierce it into the ground when they were about to bite. Next, I will activate Izanami. You have failed, Itachi made a declaration. Perhaps because of the unity of mind, Orochimaru was hit and Kabuto also fell down. The two brothers solved the illusion by looking at each other. But why did one use Tsukuyomi and the other used ordinary Sharingan illusion? Chapter 250. Doesn't Sasuke know Tsukuyomi? Or does he need to practice to master it? Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu. Does every Uchiha who has opened the main Gekkai Sharingan know these two moves? Itachi didn't seem to have said this before. Speaking of which, why does this Orochimaru that Kabuto created seem to be less powerful than the previous Utanin? Can he only attack at close range and not use ninjutsu? I've never seen this form of Orochimaru. Could it be that he can't make hand seals because he has no hands, and then gave up using ninjutsu? Could it be that the two Orochimaru that were sealed by the third Hokage before only the arm is not healed yet? After all, it is a wound to the soul, it is not so easy to heal. Sasuke was a little confused about this situation, but unexpectedly, from the mouth of Orochimaru, Kabuto's body suddenly jumped out and cut off Itachi's body, and said to Itachi in a cold voice, the genius who has everything can't understand, I just want to be the real me. No one can hinder me. Kabuto, who succeeded in the sneak attack, wanted to take the opportunity to put the talisman into Itachi's head. Fortunately, Sasuke intervened in time and separated the two. Then he performed the great fireball technique on Kabuto who rushed to the top of the cave. Kabuto immediately responded with a great waterfall technique. The surging water extinguished the flames and washed Sasuke away. In the steam, Kabuto found Itachi approaching quietly, and then pierced him again with a Kusanagi sword in his hand. Scratching head, be careful when you meet Orochimaru himself and his subordinates in the future. These people really like to crawl out of their mouths. I won't be surprised if they crawl out of the enemy's mouth in the future. Itachi has been hit by Kabuto several times since he was resurrected. Is he careless or is he too lazy to dodge because he is immortal? Why can't it be that Kabuto is too strong? Although his abilities are disgusting, they are also remarkable. Even if Itachi is fully alert, he may not be able to defend against Kabuto's attacks. I didn't see anything else, but Sasuke's vigilance has definitely decreased a lot. With such a big snake mouth in front of him, he didn't even consider that the other party might crawl out of his mouth. It's a pity that he killed Orochimaru before. There must be something wrong with your cognition, Kabuto. Why do you think you are not a genius? This guy has been so abstract since he was a child. Cognition is abstract, goals are abstract, and now even imagery is abstracted. Sasuke finally reacted. Does Itachi have to be involved before he can cheer up? He still can't do anything to Kabuto. If Sasuke fights him one-on-one, he will definitely lose miserably, even if he doesn't hold back. Tisk, in the previous story, I was still sighing about how abnormal the main Gekyo Sharingan was, but it turned into an inconspicuous move not long after. It has no effect at all in front of Kabuto's fairy arts, illusions, and weirdness. If we use conventional ninjutsu to attack, Sasuke and the others should not be Kabuto's opponents. After all, his techniques are all blessed by natural energy. At this time, Itachi's left eye instantly lost its luster, and then he responded to Kabuto's attack with the same method. The scattered crows blocked his vision, causing Kabuto to subconsciously put down the Kusanagi sword in his hand, and then Itachi grabbed it and slashed it in the face. Kabuto nimbly avoided the slash and distanced himself, saying disdainfully to Itachi, who had landed, using the same move, "Do you think I can't think of it?" Then Kabuto repeated what he had just said, that both damage and illusions were ineffective against him, and firmly stated that the other party had no chance of winning. "Your fate is in my hands." What made everything a foregone conclusion was another forbidden technique of Uchiha, which is. Itachi seemed to have become a repeater, and he said the name of the move again to Kabuto, who was rushing towards him and colliding with him, Izanami. How did the two people's battle process repeat itself? I seem to see Itachi's left eye lose its luster just now. Does it mean that Izanami has been activated? So, what is the effect? He repeated the action. Could it be an illusion? If it's an illusion, Kabuto will notice it, and hasn't Kabuto blocked his side and become immune to illusions? Could it be that Izanagi's effect forces the opponent into an illusion at the cost of blindness? After the collision, the two men retreated at the same time. Itachi retreated to Sasuke and said to him, "Sasuke, don't stay too far away from me." This scene seems familiar. Kabuto couldn't help but say something at the familiar unfolding, but he walked slowly towards the two men without caring. "I'm tired of playing, let's end this battle as soon as possible." While moving forward, Kabuto stepped on a crow feather. Of course, he didn't find any problem at this time. He was listening to Itachi's boring preaching. "Although I am the one who controls your destiny, it is still you who decides your destiny. Think about what I said, and then think carefully." Itachi's riddleman behavior, as long as he doesn't say it clearly, basically no one can understand it, and Kabuto is no exception. "I don't understand what you are talking about. I don't want to play word games with you anymore. I am the real strong one who gets everything. I only know this." Itachi's confusing words are really incomprehensible if you don't make it clear. This habit of liking to make people guess and think is really annoying for those of us who don't like to use our brains. I want to grab his clothes and spit saliva on his face. Kabuto didn't notice anything wrong. He is too confident in himself. Knowing that the other party is a liar who is good at deceiving others, not taking his words and actions seriously is playing with your own life. You didn't say that when you saw Narashikamaru's battle before. You said that when you meet such a smart person, you should just ignore him and beat him. Just joking. After all, no matter which method you use, as long as you are not strong enough, you are destined to be played by the other party. As he said, Kabuto once again controlled Orochimaru in front of his abdomen to attack Itachi. The one who can forgive himself and recognize the real self is the real strong man. Itachi said expressionlessly, and then Susanoo once again caught the attacking Orochimaru. Kabuto used the same trick to get out of Orochimaru's mouth. Although Sasuke caught him quickly, he didn't expect that another Kabuto would come out of the mouth of the Kabuto, and he was caught off guard and directly tore off one of Itachi's arms. At the same time, he grasped the Kusanagi sword in the broken arm's hand while turning around, and pierced Itachi again. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.